is just perfect.
They literally just fucking landed on me.
Have fun, because we're gonna have that all night.
Hello, chat. Hello,
chat.
everyone.
We're here. Need to move on
It's
back.
something of a dramatic entrance for us.
Yes, through no fault of our own.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, we are here.
Yeah, we're live. On the internet. The coffee's too hot.
Back again.
Hey.
There we go.
Okay. I was gonna try and do poetry warm-up before the stream started, but that super didn't happen. Like,
kind of
whatever the
figured
furthest
almost.
away from that happening. Where is... Now, fortunately, I don't have to write 3, because I wrote 1 on my lunch break today.
Hey, nice.
So I've got 2 to write today,
Mhm.
in order to catch up. And they're both pretty simple ones, and then I've only got 3 more to do, and then I've made it through the whole month.
Da 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 da! You did
I
it.
wrote 30 poems in 30 days.
Wild.
Which is a lot. That's the poetry chat book.
Do you think you'll take any forward to, like, I don't know, edit?
Editing or collecting?
Either.
Yes, on both fronts.
Mhm.
I think some of them I like just fine. I'll see how I feel about them in a month.
Mhm.
Like, I would be happy with them as they are. A couple of them I'm like, oh, there's something there. And there's a lot of them where I've talked about the same kind of thing on different, like, about a week apart.
Mhm.
So it's like, okay, I could probably collate all of this into the bigger idea that it's talking about. Kind of make a mega poem. But then some of them are trash.
Aw.
Some of them I wrote very late at night after Final Fantasy, and they are trash.
Literally just that I need to do the daily thing, so
Yeah.
here it is.
Which is, I've realised, is fine. Like,
of course.
especially
Of course
because
it's
I've been posting them. I haven't the last few days because I'm 3 days behind. But where I've been posting them in the group chat, it's like, okay, I just need to post 1 a day. I just need to get 1 out today. And sometimes it's not even. So there was a day. One of them was glitch, right? And I had this crazy idea for like a concept for a poem. So I was like, I'm gonna give this a go, and it just didn't work. So it's like, it's not that, you know, like sometimes I go into it with a really strong idea and then it just, which is how it goes sometimes, right, when you make things. But it was nice that I had an excuse just to do it. So glitch, I opened every poem in my poetry folder that is just called Untitled Document. So every poem that I haven't finished. And I cut like what I thought were the best lines or the best verse out of them, and then I, using only the words in those sections, made a new poem.
okay. That's quite
And
good.
the idea was that I didn't change the punctuation, I didn't change the capitalization, so it looks like a mess.
Okay.
Which I can't tell if it works because of what it is. Like, it's meant to be like a glitch, right? Or whether it just is bad.
No, I'm sure
I
it's
won't know
not
that
bad.
until I look at it a month from now.
I'm sure it's not bad.
Well, no, I don't mean that in like a self-deprecating way. Just like it just doesn't work as an idea.
Buenos dias, fuckboy.
You know that.
Get used to that.
But yeah, some of them I go back and I read them a couple days later, and I'm like, damn, yeah, you were onto something. And also, it's just nice that my notes is just poem.
That's very nice. That is very nice.
Yeah.
My notes for about a month became dream logs, and then I kind of stopped doing that. Because I don't generally...
Because you kept forgetting to do it, or because they became too surreal and you're not sure how you would write those down?
Mainly I kept forgetting to write them down.
Yeah. That's why I've never been able to do those kind of things. Because by the time I've picked up a book and a pen, I've forgotten.
Yeah, that's
If
why
I have one at all.
that's why they're on my phone, because obviously the phone is right there, so it was like wake up, grab phone, type it. So I've got like
something
Not quite a month's worth, but yeah. So I got February 10th. Let's see, I got
God, what is
7th of Feb, 2nd of Feb,
That's Churchill.
8th of Feb, 22nd of March.
Yeah.
Basically, when I could remember them to write them down, and then after a while,
Yeah.
I just kind of stopped doing it.
No.
Yeah. I really wish I could find, and I've tested a few, I really wish I could find like a decent voice notes app, because there are so many things I could get out of my head if it would just let me, because like Google Notes will let you do voice recordings, but you have to be talking continuously.
Right.
If you stop, it will stop recording.
Oh, okay.
So like any breaks in my speech, like that pause I did just there, it would have stopped recording. And it's just like, that's not what I want. I need it to
that's a
keep
bit
recording,
rubbish.
and I need it to be cloud-based because I need them to be quite long, so I can ramble and then listen to it back and work out what I'm talking about. Hello, Naren.
Hello.
No, that's me sniped. I didn't even realise. Fuck.
Yeah, I haven't read some of these back actually. Some of the ones from the last few days.
Doing so might start getting your brain turning.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing while I'm waiting for Spotify to load because I opened it before I called you. Before you called me.
Wow.
And that's how long it's taken to call. To go. Actually, before when I said I was leaving to make coffee, I opened the Spotify. It's still not loaded.
My God, woman.
Ain't me. Hang on, I have to proper reset it, I think.
Okay, right. So, as we can guess from seeing them on the stream, we are going to try to continue with it because we are very much chipping teeny tiny amounts off them, but pushing through it. But before any of that happens, warm-ups.
I would like to write today. I have the itch to write things.
Good. Love to see it.
As much as I probably could do with doing more D&D BAP stuff, I want to write things. So we're going to write something. Don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
No idea what it is yet, actually. Not even a vague idea, but I will find something.
Hello, Nemo, and hello, Frog.
Hello, friends.
Many friends are turning up. It is lovely to see.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Oh, Jesus. What am I? Interesting. Reading poetry back. It's like, oh, that's a cool one, but I think it's heavy in a way I can't articulate.
Thank you for the host, Frog. It's always appreciated. Mwah.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my phone.
So, this is the interesting part of the stream where we both need to warm up
Yeah.
our brains, and
Yeah.
I need to warm up my wrist. The circles are never very interesting, but it needs to be done every week.
Yeah.
And you can always minimize it if you don't particularly like looking at the circles, because I understand
Yeah.
that certain people
You
don't.
use this like a podcast.
Yeah. Because
You should be making your own shit anyway. Don't be looking at what we make.
I've gotten in the habit of sort of declaring when warm-ups are done,
Ooh,
in case people are just sort of like
nice.
only listening.
Listening.
There's just a lot of explosions then.
Because I appreciate that the warm-up is not as interesting to look at. I should pad out my stream playlist to 4 hours and 2 minutes, which is officially long enough to go the entire stream without listening to a single song twice.
Hey, very nice.
Oh wow. Okay. Fair enough.
I don't know what we're going to listen to.
There's a few that are very similar. For example, I have this one, which is Smooth McGroove's a cappella of Dire Dire Docs. But I also have Besso's Lo-Fi Dire Dire Docs, because I like that song.
That is what, sorry?
I have like multiple versions of Die Die Docks, which is the Mario level.
Ah, right.
Because it's just it's a nice tune. It's
Yeah.
iconic.
Sorry, chat. I realised I didn't have you popped out, so I wasn't paying attention to you.
Rip.
I'm here for art vibes because art vibes are best vibes. That's also why I'm here.
Hell yes.
I'm just gonna drive straight through.
Yeah.
There we go.
That is a vibe.
To the vibe. Damn, I wrote these two poems on the same day, and they're both like what kind of poems.
Oh, you were on one that day, were you?
That's annoying. But
Yeah.
that's the end of the world.
I opened writing about a poem that's not about me, which is a great way to get me to just go apeshit.
Just go feral.
Yeah. This. I wish I could. This poem is not bad, but I cannot look at it without being like, oh, there's the poem with the wrong bird biology. Like, oh yes, that is the poem that contains the bird anatomy that is wrong.
Plant-based magic.
The art vibes and background noise, plant-based magic. Yeah,
Botania.
that's good to me.
Love it. Botania is again one of the mods that I have done several times.
Although they don't seem to be dying.
Yes.
In several iterations.
Specialty.
It's like being on fire.
Come on, Spotify. I'm going to put players on YouTube while I wait for Spotify to load. Yeah. The two prompts I've got for today are nice.
One of the first things that I always try to do in Botania is to try to craft the flower that will grow additional flowers. Because that is
So I
like,
do it.
that's the first sort of major block that you'll reach eventually, is like, oh, I need particular petals and I haven't found the right flower. And if you rely on finding them out in the world, then yeah, if you just don't find it, then you're shit out of luck. So first thing I do is try to track down the particular flowers needed to craft that flower.
Okay, you need to pull back down to here, mate.
And then from that point you can work on making the rest of them. You can work on getting all the mana generating ones and things like that. Start with day blooms and night blooms, most basic mana generation flowers. Get a mana pool made. Get a pure daisy. Well, you need the pure daisy first because you need the pure daisy to make the mana pool. Get mana spreaders.
These are all words.
Yeah. You can look it up. and then from there you can start sort of playing around with different mana generation systems. I know that using water is a popular one because it is infinite and this can just be left.
Yeah.
But it has the slight thing of like it doesn't generate necessarily as much and it takes up space, but it is infinite, which is always good.
Spotify. Can't write until you've loaded.
Botania is one of those mods which, if you have other mods to complement it, it can work really well because of the various mana generations. Because there are ones where it's like, oh, generate mana from eating food, generate mana from burning coal or whatever. But if you've got like other technical mods where if you have like an auto farm mod that can like, you know, breed and cull animals for you and just gather the food, then you'll have infinite food for Botania. So if you have there's one which I think consumes ender pearls, so if you've got like the one that grows those ender lily seeds, then you can just farm them using that. and then there's the cross mod flowers, like the Taint Thistle, which literally consumes Thorncraft Taint for mana, which is very helpful in that bloody mod that we did. There's a Blood Magic one, which does what you think.
Yep.
Yep. The difficult thing is really, like, there's almost like a tier to the mod, in that there's the first tier and then the second tier you have to build the Alfheim portal and throw the book in, and that gives you the, like, second tier book.
What are we talking about now?
Still Britannia. The problem is that the problem is that the Alfheim portal is not like a Nether portal where you can just open it and leave it. When you open the Alfheim portal, it constantly drains mana. If it doesn't have a mana source, the portal will shut off.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to have a decent mana source that will supply and generate itself for the portal. Hence why people like water ones. If they can get an infinite water one and like this is making enough mana, they just put the portal next to it and go, okay, that's a closed off unit. It has its own infinite supply. Circles are done. Moving on to lines.
I'm still trying to get Spotify to load. I'm also I went into my, because I've been writing most of them either on a physical notebook or putting them on the notes app on my phone, but a couple of them are on my actual Google Drive.
Oh, okay.
And I don't remember writing any of these. So I'm like, where did this come from?
Hoopst.
Who wrote this? It was not I.
Who are you?
Oh, I do remember this one. This is the poem. Day 2, I was already like, I don't want to write, so I'm writing a poem about Dragon Age lore.
Hey, that's the way to do it.
What was the actual prompt for this, I wonder? I can check. I have a record of that. This was what, day 2? Oh, no, it was 3. It was empty except for blank. And all I could think of was the line in Dragon Age Inquisition where Corypheus declares that he has that he was one of the people who like invaded where God was meant to be. And he says and he said, "For I have sinned the throne of the gods and it was empty." And that was all I could think of.
I mean, that's a pretty great line.
Yeah. And I believe him too. In that game, anyway. Oh yeah, I wrote that poem about Susan Pemminsey last week. I forgot about this.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. Oh, ow!
What's happening?
Good job, past me. You did damage to future me.
Oh, there was just a big explosion.
Spotify.
Oh, Nemo, thank you for subbing again. That's very sweet of you.
Thank you, Nemo.
Gotta get that. Oh, 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 for Nemo.
Yep.
Oh, you're very sweet, Nemo. You don't have to subscribe. You don't have to. But thank you very much. Oh, yeah.
Spotify application is not responding. You don't say.
Oh yeah, Nemo. There it is. It was in Ix's original sketch. That I believe you were hiding in. It's the original. That's. Do you remember for Undertale? This is where it came from. This is the document it originated in. And I took it and I was like, you know what? Let's just grab that, make it big, and do the artwork with it. I'd forgotten is the thing. I forgot, and last week I was like, "There's a Nemo hiding in this document. He's everywhere."
Sorry. Yeah, that's fine.
Nemo! Now that is very uncalled for, but thank you very, very much.
Cheeky gift sub.
Giving stuff away. Gifting subs.
Gifting subs.
We'll go to get the mega awoos. So many awoos.
Careful, there's a tank.
Awoo!
You said that, and then all of the debris near me just flew away.
Nemo gifting champion.
Yeah. You're right, Nemo.
Thank you.
Have fun in your lurking void.
Enjoy.
I am once again asking Spotify to load.
Still, wow.
I've restarted it 3 times.
Oh my days. Oof.
It does this thing where it goes to, so it'll open and it'll be like that kind of dark grey,
Yeah.
and then where the X, the minimize, and the whatever, that will go the actual correct Spotify grey color.
Mhm.
Whereas everything will be like this dark, almost black, and then when it actually loads, everything will go to the light color. But it's just getting stuck at that initial loading phase,
I thought you sometimes
and it
use.
stays there.
I thought you used Spotify on your phone because of this issue.
No. Well, yes, sometimes I just get fed up and just use it on my phone. In fact, that's going to happen imminently, I think.
Mhm.
Because...
Ooh, you might cut out.
Oh, weird. Why did that mute itself?
Huh.
That was weird.
Bonk.
But yeah, I need to charge. The reason why I normally don't is because I need to charge my phone, but I can do both.
So I had the phone charger at my desk.
Yeah. My phone charger cable does not reach the top of my desk.
That's annoying.
So if I'm charging my phone is under my desk. On top of the PC.
Okie dokie.
But, okay, let's mute the shit out of my laptop and just open Spotify on my phone. Can't be asked. I cannot be bothered with the today Spotify. Ooh, that's loud. Ooh. I can tell I was on a bus earlier. What should I listen to? It's in my on repeat. A bunch of my on repeat is just Final Fantasy music because it's really good to concentrate to.
Hey, Kate.
Oh yeah.
Hey, hello, Gaza.
There he is.
I really relate to that tweet you put up earlier, the blue that was like browsing my Spotify playlist. Like I can't decide what to get on a menu.
Yeah, I'd gone for my walk and I was like,
what I fancy.
I'd gone for a walk and I was like, what do I want to listen to while I walk? And you know what? I ended up listening to nothing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
it's nice to use them as well.
I keep being like, there must be playlists like deep in these folders I never listen to, and I want to find them and listen to them because I feel like I listen to the same playlist too much.
500
I get that sometimes.
But I'm like, I don't know where they are though.
Warm-up lines are done.
I love how Nerwin is using Twitch chat in order to talk about Minecraft stuff with Kay. That's amazing. That is a feat of ingenuity.
We have a Minecraft channel.
Holy shit, Stangy, you took some. Oh my god. You took some losses. Fucking hell. Yeah. Alright, but still. Jesus. How many did you make? Yeah, about the 21-minute mark, you really spiked and you kicked the shit
Like,
out
I know the number of how many playlists I have. Where are they?
of it. Access the shop.
Dang subfolders.
Yeah. And like, I'm a big subfolders person. There's a lot of folders in here.
Fair enough.
Why am I the dumb?
I wish you could do what you can do on browser on your mobile, where you can just listen to a whole folder. Oh my god, I haven't listened to this in 1,000 years. Yep, that's the playlist that's going on.
Cool. Which one is it?
It is a vibes-based playlist for a thing I was working on. I guess it would have been a novel eventually. It still might be a novel eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the first chapter in a bit and the whole plot outline done for it. I just need to do more of it, but I haven't touched it in a while. But this was the playlist I made when it was like in the vibes stage, where I like vaguely I had a vibe for a story, but I didn't have a story. And I think I made this years and years ago. And now I have some more specific character ones that are not very fleshed out, but yeah, maybe I'll work more on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's about, I was gonna say it's about gays, but that doesn't specify anything. It's about stealing photography.
Might give the British a go.
Is what it's about. I guess is the vaguest way I can say it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I said that vaguely when I could have just given you like the pitch for it. It's basically a story about the super pitch version of it is it's a story about a girl who's studying photography who feels very inadequate and like she doesn't understand art, and so in a kind of fit of desperation essentially steals a roll of photography of film from her talented student in the class.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that comes with that. But yeah, this was when this was still just like a vibes. It's about a lot more than that, but I don't want to give the full plot outline because I will do that. And also I haven't thought about it in a while, so I probably misrepresent the story. Hello, Des.
Hello.
I need to actually get on with this because you're already on sketch.
Yeah, I'm on warm-up sketch. Circles and lines have been donezoed.
nice if they included more variety in PvE plans. That'd be cool. Like just assuming that they'd had resources during the war to be on level pegging. Ablahauptstraße. Oh my god. This is just push through and win. Alright then. Really? If we can't hold our points, we have lost the game. Desert yellow with frost. Is an oxymoron for you? Oh god, I can't remember how to play these guys.
Sorry to hear, Das. Soon. Just hang in there, bud. It'll be soon. This is the kind of map that Germans would excel at. Okay, I'm guessing we're going to try and hold this bridge. Alright, I'll do it again.
Shout out to me for making a very meta joke in this poem that only I can physically understand. Explaining it would take 25 minutes.
Oh, okay.
One of those things that's a reference to a thing that I made that is referencing another thing, and that is the thing that I'm referencing. So it's It's like 3 steps back, but only I will get the connection to why it's relevant.
See the fucking cafeteria.
This one's just for me.
Alright. Shit, run away. Oh fuck. This is where we die. Oh god, it takes a long time to meet up with your troops.
One poem down.
Nice.
More to go. I think this one will be short, I imagine. And now we gotta work out what I'm gonna write.
Oh my god, they came from everywhere. I'm gonna need some tanks to push in on them.
You can tell my brain is a little bit like my PlayStation's fans today. It's going like a million miles a second to get me to do one bit. That's why I'm not talking much.
Fair enough.
Where?
Meanwhile.
Meanwhile, in the Imperial City of Gullimold. There we go, Final Fantasy joke.
Hey! You got there.
Oh damn, you just like whipped this up, huh?
References do half the work.
That doesn't mean anything.
Literally,
It's
when
still
when
skill to translate it.
once I started, I was like, this will be a million times better if I just went and found a reference picture. So I went and did that.
I feel that.
There you go, Amber.
Oh.
I have no idea. Oh fuck! I forgot about. That's a cop. That's gonna cost me. That's gonna cost me. Read any cards and let's get ourselves together. They're sending me squads back up for what good they can do. One tank would help so much. I know, I was just thinking, I was like, who the fuck send that?
Do you ever just have that thing of like, oh, I could reread that book right now?
Yes. I feel like we've spoken about that probably about 10 times on this
I'm
stream.
not gonna say the one people think I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, I'm well aware that you want to reread The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe and all the other ones, but what's this one? What's the new one?
It's a book.
Cut out again.
Um,
Oh, I think that was a signal thing, because then you came back in.
I was gonna say it didn't mute this time. It's a book I don't talk about nearly enough for how good I think it is. It's called The Monsters We Deserve.
Hmm.
It's by Marcus Sedgwick, I think is the name. I'm gonna check this.
While you do, posture check and a stretch. Posture check
okay.
and a stretch.
Yes. And it's, oh god. How do I... what this book is about? This is one of those books where no matter how you explain it, you're kind of simplifying it in a way that's kind of insulting.
Oh.
Okay, what genre would I say? It's okay. I've seen this book in the YA section. I don't know why it's in there. It's
Oh.
it's. I guess you would say it's a horror, but it's more of a psychological horror.
Oh,
It's-
my least favorite.
No, but like I can read it. Like it's not.
Okay.
It's not like intense. It's the premise of the book is that the writer goes into the mountains. I think the Alps. And
Achilles.
they are trying to write a novel,
No, it's not.
but they are being
Centaur's the antidote.
they are so caught up
It might be one
in
of
how
them.
much they
Or it
hate
could just be a personal one.
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
that they cannot write a book.
Play an M10 text string. Yeah, it's my command.
What?
Is that how I would describe this book?
What a concept.
It's kind of a book about Frankenstein, but it's not about that. It's what blurb does the book give it? Hang on. I remember reading the blurb of this book after I had read it and being like, you shouldn't read the blurb, so I will go and check. Because I didn't know what I was getting into with this book. This book also has one of the best covers I've ever seen. I'm actually tempted because I think it's in over there. I might turn my camera off and grab it real quick. Yes. Okay. I like this description from Marcus Sedgwick's website. So the quote from the book that they've picked is, "Do monsters always stay in the book where they were born? Are they content to live out their lives on paper and never step foot in the real world?" Published in this is not from the book, this is the description. Published in 1818, Shelley's Frankenstein is one of the most influential tales of all time. 200 years later, in a remote mountain house high in the French Alps, an author broods on that creation. Reality and perception merge, fueled by poisoned thoughts. People make monsters, but who really creates who in the end? Because it's kind of about Frankenstein. It's kind of about this guy who, and I won't spoil it, is obsessed with Frankenstein for a specific reason. And it's kind of about whether making things is inherently monstrous. Making anything. It's kind of great. It's also, it's
Fuck.
yeah. I'm gonna get it out of the chest. Hang on a second.
Okay.
Because how it is presented is kind of will give you a vibe for this book.
Nah. I'm not very good with the British, I'm afraid. I don't know how to play them well enough to counter up against hard. Like, I know the Germans, I know everything that they're doing. I like how our guys are just spinning. Not that far, not that far, not that far. Right, one. Now, fuck. Back it up, back it up, back it up, boys, back it up, boys, back it up, boys.
Oh, also, I should say, you know that we meme that
Constantly.
you know that we mean that Blood and Sand is about circles.
Curls.
This book is about triangles.
Oh, good.
This is what this book looks like.
Jesus Christ, that's a cover.
Yeah. There's some fun stuff happening with negative space, if you know what you're looking for here.
Yeah,
But-
I could see something, but I didn't get a good enough look at it. Because I've gotten slightly attuned to seeing negative space.
Where's like a really good page for what this looks like? I mean, some of them are just like this,
Nope.
but some of them are like this, and there's like they're all broken up.
That's ooh. Wild.
It plays with how it's like shown.
I saw the page that was almost entirely black, and I just went, Lemony Snicket walks so this man could run.
Yeah.
Just a page of blackness.
I don't even remember what this one was about. Where's the one? Ugh. It's so good. I nearly wrote my dissertation on this book. It's not like a long read either, because of how it's laid out. Like, they're all... Like, there's a lot of negative space in this book, very intentionally. Like...
I didn't mean for you to do anything that you just did fucking probably.
Where's
You just
the
turned your ass to them for no reason like a bellend.
I mean, a lot of them just have, like, a weird texture. It's really hard to explain. It kind of doesn't show up on camera either. But yeah,
Why
it's
are you going forward? Who told you to move?
very, very good.
Alright. I didn't tell him to move at all, he just started driving. Yeah, can we
I wasn't going to, but it's actually not as spoilery as I thought it was.
I don't know how to use
I'm
it.
suddenly aware of the space of the house, the air it occupies and which occupies it,
That's true. Actually,
hanging
yeah, that
weight of
really
it,
is.
high up here at 5,000 feet, and the empty night rising out of the ground as dusk arrives in the mountains, and down in the gorge, ringing chasms through roaring water into fathomless depths, unseen by humankind and all but the bravest of beasts, while I sit and converse with a woman long dead. It's very good. It's a very good book.
Wow.
It's one of those books. Every time I've lent this book to 3 different people, and every time they've come back to me, they've handed it to me and gone,
Double your map production.
"Okay."
So,
I have had
I should
multiple
learn how to
hour-long
use some
conversations
of
with
those
this book.
fucking Germans.
wow.
I might try another commander though.
I could write a lot about this one section that I have tabbed here. Yeah, I want to read this really bad. I could probably read this in an hour. Job for some point this week. In fact, I'm going to put it there because I might write about it in a minute. weekly book rec with me. How does that always... I talk about books on this stream way more than I read books in real life.
It's almost like you're an English major.
Unfortunately, yes.
I mean, it was on your rec that I listened to Cersei, and it was golden, so...
Very literally.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm not saying I have good taste.
I am.
But I kind of do.
I'm saying you have good taste.
I'll go out on the limb there. Yeah, I have good taste.
I need to trim this nail because it's bugging me.
Literally golden. I'd say it's more copper,
Copper.
bronze, bronze. It's probably meant to be bronze.
Yeah, because Greek.
Oh god, do I get up and get the cover? Do I get up and get the other book? I'm gonna.
I mean, it's pretty, so...
I'm procrastinating. I'm gonna get it, hang on.
Alright. It's a very pretty cover. Every time this comes on, I'm like, I should remove this from this playlist.
Okay, so this is a pre-order edition, but
Oh, that's nice. So
Like,
nice.
come on with this.
I know, right? So nice.
Look at that.
Gorgeous.
Even under the dust jacket.
Ooh, I've never seen that before.
Oh, yeah, because you have the audiobook, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I knew what the cover looked like, but I've never seen that. Ooh,
Yeah. Oh,
that's nice.
I actually wrote my dissertation about this one.
Yeah, see, I have the audiobook, but I've seen the paperback edition because one day I walked into work and Lucy had it. Yes, that's the
It's got the map.
island.
That's all, yeah.
Yes. Ay, yeah.
The lion.
Oh.
There's Charybdis,
Yes.
and you can't see Scylla, but there she is.
Yeah, I can see her. There, Scylla. Yes. Ironically, I didn't know Charybdis as what it actually is. The first time I encountered the word Charybdis is when Behemoth cast it in frickin' Monster Hunter. It literally popped up to say, Behemoth is casting Charybdis, and then a whirlwind popped up and I was like, what is this? And then when it appeared in the book, I was like, oh, Charybdis is actually a thing, and not just
It's a whirlpool.
It's just actually a thing, and not just a fantasy word.
Yeah. I think it's really unclear. This was a debate I had in many a classics class, whether Charybdis is meant to be like a person, or whether it's just a natural occurring phenomenon. Like, it's kind of implied that Charybdis is a being, like a specifically a woman. It's like, what? It's a whirlpool.
I mean, I guess people frequently refer to the ocean as a woman.
Yeah, it's true. Also, like, they're kind of... Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Mwah, favorite book. This is my nice copy that isn't full of my dissertation notes. I have a cheap second-hand copy of the paperback that is absolutely ruined. Because it's where all my dissertation notes were. But yeah, those two are genuine recommends. Read them. Not to Blue, because Blue's red says. I'm trying to coerce Blue into Song of Achilles next.
I want to get Song of Achilles. It's on my wish list. I only get
It's on
one.
your list,
I get
know.
one Audible book a month, and I have other books that I want.
Yeah. 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 Metamorphosis is a little clearer on it, but
In some versions, Charybdis isn't a whirlpool; it's an actual sea monster. So that's why.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
It's either.
Yeah. Metamorphosis is all about people becoming other things, so that would make sense.
It's very true.
Or one thing becoming another, I should say. Keep that vaguer.
Hmm.
The Odyssey, depending on what translation you have,
Yeah,
will
need some help at the middle if you
change
can.
its object pronouns, shall we say.
Not going well. You're having bad luck with them. More grenades? Seriously? No, I don't have any mortars, I'm afraid, mate. I'm just focusing entirely on this side. Ah shit, they just mortared the crap out of me. They have just rushed the hell out of me. And they're using my trenches against me.
I've used the phrase the midnight hour, and I can't write that without. Did you ever read or play or watch The Madness of Dr. Decker?
No. Oh no, wait, I did, because Jesse and Dodger did play through that, didn't they?
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
Do you remember the guy?
I was like, where do I remember the name from? I don't, because
Yeah.
I couldn't remember the name of the game. Of course, Dr. Decker.
Yeah. I
Weird
always. Oh god, so weird. I always think of that guy who thought he had, when it hit midnight, he had an extra hour, but only he could move.
Mm.
I can't use the phrase without thinking of like my very own midnight hour. Fuck, that is a weird game.
It's such a weird game.
Love it. I've got a run of that going actually. I never finished it. I really struggle. I love AMV games, but I really struggle. Yeah, that's the right term for them, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Or like-
AMV.
Is that it? But you know what I mean. Like filmed.
Yeah,
Like,
I
love
know what
them,
you mean.
But they make me feel like, I think the studio that makes those games is a genius because they make me feel really uneasy. I worked at Henley at the time. They kept mentioning the church. That's so fucking creepy. Yeah, a lot of stuff happens at Henley Church in that game. I was ever so slightly freaked out. Yeah, like I think they're a genius because those kind of games make me feel really uneasy and nervous. So they use that form to make like eldritch horror, psychological, like trippy games, right? Because it kind of lends itself to that. Like, wait, what just happened?
Yeah.
I remember watching. Oh my god, what's the one they're making at the moment? Oh, don't tell me, don't tell me, don't tell me. It was Thingy and Poe.
Poe and Monroe.
Poe and Monroe. Thank you, Cluster. Poe and Monroe is really weird.
That one
Poe
is
and Monroe, I
yeah,
think, is like
the
the
face
best
changer.
example of their vibe because it might be, and kind of I do like these kind of things because this is kind of what the monsters we deserve is like. It might be that everything that's happening is actually very mundane, but the way they presented it is like kind of surreal.
Yeah.
Or everything that's happening is madness. It's complete crazy extraterrestrial madness. And everyone's reacting weirdly calmly to it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to explain, because I feel like if you went straight in with Paul Monroe, you'd be like, what the fuck is the vibe?
Yeah. What is?
But if
what
you've
is going on
played
here?
other games from that studio, you know that kind of like, especially Paul Monroe, like, things that are creepy are happening, but everyone is reacting very normally to it.
Mhm.
Which makes you be like, wait, but so am I the only one who can see that
Yeah.
child that keeps appearing behind the couch? Or
Yeah, it's like and you're just standing there, just like, am I going completely mad?
yeah, it's gorgeous. It's so good. But I struggled to get through them for that reason because it's like I feel really uneasy at the end of it. It's like I have to play it with all the lights on in the daytime.
I get that.
Otherwise, I'm like, what is real? Especially Dr. Decker, because depending on what kind of run you're going for, you can make it real crazy.
Yeah.
You can turn that dial all the way up or all the way down, depending on how you want to approach
I
it.
just feel like when I'm playing with the Germans, like I have more control
Yeah,
over my units.
but,
And this one's like everyone's fucked.
yeah,
Okay,
what was the
everyone
one-
right, well, no,
It was
run.
Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker, and then Paul Monroe. What was the one between that? The Shapeshifting Detective, right?
Yeah, the shapeshifter one. Which one was it?
Shapeshifting
Yeah, a couple of go around.
Detective, I think is actually what it's called.
Is it? It might be.
Yeah, the Shapeshifting Detective.
Oh,
That's what it's
okay.
called. Yeah, and that's where Paul Monroe are from.
Yeah, because Poe and Monroe do the radio show in the
And they're kind of
Detective.
part of Shapeshifting Detective,
Yeah.
but it's tangential. Also, like, the concept of that game is insane. Like, at least with most of the other games, you're coming at it from, like, a layman's. So, like, Dr. Decker, it kind of comes into question who you are, but initially you're like, oh, okay, this is what I am and this is what I do.
Yeah.
And Paul Monroe, you're not really a character.
Yeah, but the,
You're either
the shapeshifting
controlling-
detective, the clue is in the name, you just appear and it's like, oh, you're a person who can shapeshift into other people! And it's like, what?! And
I can't
everything
imagine-
else, everyone else seems somewhat normal, and it's like, why is there
Yeah.
just this person that can do this?
You can just shapeshift. And what? You can shapeshift into whatever you want, but whatever you do, don't shapeshift into a child.
Yeah, that's a rule.
What does that mean? But like, oh man, what was I gonna say? Consciously, that there cannot be as many endings to that game as I think there might be.
I mean, there could be, let's be real.
Because there are infinite number of things you could do or say in that game, depending on who you talk to as who and in what order. Surely, and I imagine there probably is, like with that studio, there's often that feeling of like there are a million ways it could go and it can only go like one or two ways. But I love that feeling of like, wow. It's like Rusty Lake. Oh my god, I'm so behind on Rusty Lake. I play Rusty Lake with my sister Vicky, and we love those games. Mostly because
Very
I can't
strange.
beat them on my own without looking them up, so playing them with Vicky is more fun. But I have, what was the last one I downloaded, but we haven't seen each other in forever, so we haven't been able to play them. Paradox is the last one I have that we haven't finished. Rusty Lake is also a good one that's like, it seems pretty straightforward, and then you're like, what is the vibe?
Wait, what? It just sort of ends and you go, what?
Mm-hmm.
What? It's like, no, that's
See,
not,
at
that's
least
not the ending,
Hotel.
is it?
Hotel is at least contained, and I feel like Rusty Lake Hotel is like almost moderated. Like, I feel like they tried to tame down the weird a little bit, and Rusty Lake Hotel isn't not weird, it's supremely weird.
Oh, it is weird.
But oh my god, what is the name of the second one? Is it Village?
Very positive.
Paradise and Roots are, Roots especially is like, everything is completely, the energy is so weird, and then it just like at a certain point it just clicks and it goes, oh, like you'll just get a puzzle and you'll be like, wait, I have to do what?
Fair enough.
I have to remove this man's brain.
Yep.
Because you were talking about typing as well.
Hotel isn't contained at all. I think it is compared to the later ones. Like Hotel is fucking weird and creepy.
Yeah.
But I think as well, partly because it's animals, even though they're people.
Yeah, they represent people.
It takes a little bit of the edge off it almost.
It gives you a bit of a, like, this cognitive, like, disconnect, almost.
Yeah. Whereas Roots is like, you're literally following a family tree and doing horrific things. Like, you're solving puzzles and you realize what you're solving the puzzle to achieve, and you're like,
That reminds me of.
I don't want to do this. Yeah, Roots was definitely like that. Oh my god, Roots is fucked up.
We're in trouble, which is the French for.
And then I don't know if I ever finished.
It just cracks me the speed at which he says it. I was like...
I don't think I ever finished Paradise. I think me and Vicky got to one of the last puzzles and then we
There
didn't
it is.
finish it
Beyond the form
before I had to go
detail.
back. Yeah. Paradise is also weird, but it's weird in a I don't know what's happening kind of way.
This is where you just buy everything that they've made.
Like, Roots you can follow. You can follow what is happening, and it gets worse and worse and worse, like, in terms of the creepo factor. Like, I don't know what's going on start to finish. Yeah.
I'll wait for you to set up so you can be orange, because otherwise we're going to start killing ourselves again.
I'm trying to think what other games are like that just have like a weird energy. Six Child about that a little bit, but Six Child at least makes sense.
I mean, the OG Mist has weird energy.
Hmm.
It's the OG of what is happening in this game?
I think I have.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of ones as well that are like that, but also are like make me feel uneasy. I don't know how many of them I really play.
Yeah, see, I don't really know many games that make me uneasy, because if I encounter anything that makes me uneasy, I stop.
Yeah. Yeah, same. That doesn't mean I have not attempted them.
When I was in the toilet, I was like, what buttons do what? I don't remember. Oh no, I used the mouse because accuracy was very important.
Yeah, I've played my fair share of like weird little indie things like that.
Okay, it's probably as orange anyway.
Oh, I need to finish I say I need to finish Arsenal every week, but I need to finish Arsenal.
What we got?
Right. I think I've accepted in and of myself that I'm probably not going to start anything today. But I do want to write, so what have I got going? Because it's not like I'm short on that stuff.
catch it. Apparently there was a set of bullets like that in one of the museums somewhere, where they'd said that two bullets had actually collided mid-air. I fucking blocked that. Oh, nice shot. Ooh. Get down. Oh fuck, I hated that one. Whoa, 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 whoa. Why can't I not fucking aim? I was too busy trying to jump there rather than focusing on where you were. Oh. Okay. I was mid-air, so I wouldn't have thought it would be able to crush me. Jeez. That's funny, that is. I can't... oh, that's a tough choice. Bullets drill through walls. That gives me cover. I need cover because you have blowy up shit. Although this is a great map to really try it out. Ow! Off. Okay, that was a bad map for me.
As Spook slowly transforms into Krusty the Clown.
That is psychological horror for the
No,
evening.
you die!
Oh no, they're playing rounds. Oh dear.
Whoa!
Chaos game, chaos game.
Yep, no, I'd get you there. Oh, fuck off. Oh, yeah! Get wrecked. That was a good round. Oh, no, no. He's turned into fucking Tarzan. I'm dead. Wow, oh my god. Oh my god. You don't need to. Let's just go with the basic. Don't feel like anything too fancy this time. Please, please, God, please. You just Miley Cyrus'd yourself, mate. drill hammer's pretty sick. Can't lie. What's he gonna go? Parasite. Oh. Oops, I clicked out the map.
I need to put this away. I'm procrastinating again.
Whoops.
Oh my god, this is a bad one for me.
I forgot. I was like, wait,
Oh, I died.
why? If I didn't read the blurb, because I didn't buy this for the cover, I can't remember what I read that made me want to read it. And I remember it's the first page of this book that made me buy it.
Oh. So you just sat down and started to read it on the stream?
Maybe. To be fair, I did just read the first page again, and I was like, oh yeah, that. Okay. What have I got going on?
Well played. Well played. Life steal in the match never ends. Wind up.
What are you doing, Frog?
What's happening?
Speak to us.
What is happening?
Get final smashed. Oh yes. Love the drill.
What? What is his arm?
I don't know.
Fast forward.
Whose arm is this? Also, Teef.
Teef. Everyone, as soon as I start drawing Tala, ooh, teeth! Teeth.
Friend shaped. I wrote Posey's name instead of the lady in pink. Help me.
Ooh, that's not good.
Goodbye. Oh, fuck.
I have a lot of thoughts about that.
Oh, I think I
Looks
would
like
have
my
killed
little Posey.
I heard that through your headset.
Stanley didn't have a good round that one.
Yeah, no, I could tell from the fact that I just heard an ear-splattering screech through your headset, through my headset.
Stanley's so powerful, his sound penetrates walls. Stanley has done playing.
A thing about something. Thank you, past self, for being so descriptive with your naming conventions. I was like, oh, I was listening to the playlist for the story earlier. Maybe I'll go back and look at where I left it.
Oh, fuck.
And I forgot.
I can't
This
block
is
that
what
ice as
all
well.
my saved
I
files.
think I can block damage, but I can't block
So I have 9 copies of this story.
Mm-hmm.
And the names of the first, like, how many is that? The first 6 go like this. Draft 1, third person backup. Draft 5, I swear to God I will get this voice right. Draft 2, name of thing, chapter 1. Draft 3, name of thing, chapter 1, the Revengeing. Draft 6, this is in all caps. Draft 6, this bitch is going back into third. Next one, all caps. Draft 6, this bitch is going back into third, auto recovered.
Also, oh dear.
This tells us. Oh, and the one underneath it is not in all caps, in all lowercase. Like 7, I think.
Environmental storytelling.
Yeah. What is happening, Frog?
Oh, wow,
Use
that
your
was a shot.
words. Okay, what was happening on draft like 7, I think? Oh, the different file sizes as well are really funny.
Bang.
It doesn't always exponentially increase as the drafts go on.
Yeah. Goodbye. Goodbye, Mr. Bond.
I've seen what she's drawing. You're not ready.
Good.
I'm concerned.
Why am I so bad at shooting?
I was like, why is this song just screaming? And then I saw what song it was.
Oh.
The Distraction from Carrie. Also contains the craziest note I've ever heard in my life.
Fuck off. Oh my god, that was... Okay.
Oh, yeah. That's the song.
I mean,
Where did I leave this?
fuck off, I'm on lower health than you prick. Yeah, fuck off.
I want to write something that's not very long. I want the satisfaction of finishing something without the commitment of working on something for a long time.
Ooh, isn't that a baby mood? Considering that
At least
it's
I'm honest.
considering it's now 9 o'clock and I still haven't actually got on to working on Ix again.
I mean, but what you're doing is incredible, so carry on.
Teef.
What the fuck? I don't know, the whole screen shook. I think you broke something.
I have a folder in my Imazius folder that just contains a single document. What? Oh,
I
right.
just got to
Okay, yes.
twice in
Yeah.
3 seconds.
What is happening with your bullets?
I've got bouncy and fast. So I just can't stand you.
Chaos.
Okay. Oh my god. I didn't even see how I died. Oh fuck. Oh, okay. Fuck. Oh well. No fuck. I might have cocked up there. Let's try again. Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy. Oh, nice deflect. Ow, that hurt. Oh, those bounce off them. Okay, that's noted. Direct hit. Go away. Have a box. Oh, that was a good hit. Oh, that was good. Fair play. Double hit.
Oh, I forgot. My like Imazius folder is full of like little pieces about various characters that I forgot I have written.
Fuck off. Which health do you need?
One does not
Oh,
stop a
shit,
heart
I
without the
myself
knowledge
had
of
that.
doing so. It cannot be done without your
You have
intent.
too
Your
huge.
intent, it seems, was drawn not for the desire to protect yourself and others, as we have taught you to do, but rather from a vicious malice
Wait,
that has
I was
consumed your
talking.
spirit despite my attempts to purge it
One
from
down
you.
right trigger and everything. I'm gonna play this game.
Should I just save and close this picture of Tala that I'm drawing right now?
No, that is not about Tala. That is about a character who is back burner right now. Well, thereabout.
They're about. Ominous.
Thereabout.
Ominous.
If any of
We're
you
probably
remember
fine.
who that's about, you get 1,000,000 brownie points because you should
I
not.
think I did, but it didn't help.
Oh god.
Oh.
There's a lot happening back there, huh?
Yeah.
Oh fucking hell, this could be bad. I don't know what kind of gun this is.
I opened this one and I was like, what? Why is it like indented? And then I saw just all the comments.
Nope, nope, no, no! Oh shit, this one.
Yes, that was my best day. Good job.
There you go. See, Des pays attention.
Stopped beating heart with her bare hands was the thing that Belchior had written on her.
Goodbye, Stedgy. Oh,
I
it would
could
put me
edit
underneath.
this.
It would put me underneath, prick.
Das, I've just opened that short story I was working on ages ago that I gave to you, and it's just all your comments on the side. This is one of those things I wrote just because there was a specific part of it I wanted to write, but I
can't
couldn't
actually kill you. I think
make
I fucked myself.
why that bit.
You had to ride around it.
Goodbye.
I had to explain everything that led up to that to explain why it affected me so much,
Mm-hmm.
which resulted in something that's pretty disorganized at the start. To be honest, I should probably just get rid of that bit and try and establish it. Because basically there's a bit and then there's a time skip and then there's the bit I actually wanted to write. I should probably, well, there's a bit, time skip, and then the bit I wanted to write. I should probably just have the last bit and then try and establish the other stuff. But it's difficult to do that. Yeah, We Give Thanks to You in Turn is the name of it. It's about a character who existed so long ago that he doesn't matter. But it was just a concept that I had.
Wait for the shield. Ow! I forget I have so little health.
Yeah, this one gets bogged down because this is actually a good lesson for any other fantasy writers in the chat. This one gets bogged down because
Oh, I fucked that up. No, no, no,
There
no,
are
no.
a lot of royals
Footing.
in this time period. It's kind of that, like, this family, the point in the family tree has a lot of people in it, and they all have the same title. So it gets very confusing very quickly who I am at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
If I say the prince, there's like 4 princes in this story.
Health as well.
Like,
Bullshit. Can't
That's why it
use
needs
this.
cleaning. Also, the king changes about 4 times. Well, yeah, because it takes place over so much time that in the beginning they're talking about the queen, then the king, and there's a different king by the time this part happens.
I thought I blocked
And that's not very clear.
that. I did not. Ah, fuck. I just thought I could jump out of the way of that, but I couldn't.
I can hear Stanji from here.
Yeah.
I had a bad set there. Hold on. One more. Because I'm going to finish my drink.
Oh, it's a good shot. I need to go top up my water. I'll be right back.
Okie doke. I don't know that he wanted to bring peace as much as he just wanted to reverse death. I think that was kind of more what I was getting on. Because kind of the point of this is that the prince that it's about is a healer. He's chosen to be a healer at a very young age. But is the chosen, meanwhile, is the chosen of the god of death. Posture check and stretch. Excellent. Oh. I don't know what to write. I definitely want to write. See, I forgot the monsters we described in the second person. Parts of it in second person. How would I write this? There is that. I just opened that old Urban Magic thing. And I forgot how it ended. Sometimes I go back and I read things I wrote and I'm like, was I okay? Not in like a... Just like, where in my brain did that come from? It's not like super dark and messed up, but just like, why did I put that sequence of thoughts together? I think it might be time to work on more of magic stuff. Yeah, I really enjoyed the way I've gone back to the magic thing I wrote ages ago. I love the way I talked about necromancy in this. Magic of this type was fickle. Giving it too little would give you nothing, and the mobility made it easy to do so. Giving it too much, on the other hand, would give you a different and slightly more urgent set of problems. It was a type of magic that left a stickiness to the skin and a bitterness in your mouth. Even now, the grass grew black and ashen. Yeah, this is a fun one. Yes, I remember this. Wait, what? What are we talking about? Oh, your cleric boys. I realized, I was like, I have too many cleric boys. Yeah, Bandless. Bandless is interesting. Bandless is very interesting to me. He's a very, I don't want to say difficult character for me to play. He kind of is. Not because of any of his physical impairments, but he has a very particular approach and a very specific way of doing things that's very not my impetus, not the way I would approach, especially the situation that he's in. He's the kind of character, what can I say? He's a character who fundamentally doesn't believe in his authority, but not in a self-deprecating way. He's a very interesting character to play. Not enough cleric boys. I do love my clerics. Like, if anything, Okar has taught me is that I need to play a cleric. I need to play a cleric because I clearly have the ideas and B, the drive to play a cleric. Even if I will never get the hang of prepared spells. Never. I forget every single time I'm playing a cleric character that they can change their spells every day. Completely forget every single time. Quest's Paladin, in terms of how it's different, is very interesting to me. Not in terms of how they play, because I understand that they play differently, even if though they can fill the same roles. But like for Flare, we use Flare because I think most people in the chat are OCAR people. Like just in case, Flare is a general of an army, whether he wanted to be or not. He is, by all accounts, a kind of holy warrior. Therefore, should he be a paladin? Like, he's a cleric, and it fits pretty well for him to be a cleric. And I'm not thinking of changing it, but I do think about how much that difference matters and how that might differ in different fantasy cultures, or whether there is a difference other than function. Like whether in a setting they should have a difference, you know?
I return.
Hello. I'm talking about the differences or lack thereof between clerics and paladins.
Ooh.
And also just clerics in general.
I wish I was here for that conversation, because that's the sort of thing I like to talk about, is just D&D classes. And as I said in character, the difference between clerics and paladins and blood hunters, which was prevention is better than cure.
Yes. Yeah. I think that is a good answer, to be honest. Because it's like, outside of how like they play, like in the setting of the world, what is the difference?
Yes.
Because some, like, you can establish that, of course, and be like, well, clerics are like medics and paladins are holy warriors, but it's interesting to see where that lands. I've definitely been playing with it in my setting a little. So in the rustings, it kind of doesn't matter so much.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, if you take it as how the book is, obviously when you say the word paladin, this mental image of this holy warrior is conjured in your mind.
Yeah.
But if you take the book literally, paladins don't have to be that devout or religious, because what they get their power from is technically the oath, which is then made to a deity or a divine or some other being, because obviously there are various other paladins that get their powers from anything. So it's like when you actually sit down and read it, it's like, they're not like religious at all, even though when you say paladin, you think religious warrior.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of example.
Oops, connection issue. Oh no, I broke her, everyone, I'm sorry. Oh dear. Very thoroughly broke her this time, guys. Oop, yep, totally gone.
Oh.
Hello? Hey, we're back.
I went off on one and you didn't hear any of it, did you?
No, didn't hear a word, sorry.
That's fine. What was the last thing you heard?
Basically nothing. You literally opened your mouth and froze.
Shit.
Sorry.
I was saying it's kind of exemplified in like Oath of Ancients, right? Like Oath of Ancients, you can have an Oath of Ancients paladin that is associated with nature-related gods, as we have seen. But like it's more to do with the idea or ideas associated with nature.
Yeah.
Or like wildness.
Yeah. Because again, because in D&D, again, if you take the rules as written,
yeah.
The key word is oath. Because with clerics it's domain, with paladins it's oath. So it's like you're not. You can literally throw religion out the window if you want. Basically, a paladin, almost kind of like a warlock in a way, where a warlock's like, I have made a pact with somebody. A paladin is literally that flipped round. It's like, I have made an oath to do something. I have made an oath to do something.
That's high. Yes, I was subtweeting her just then.
The who tomb is almost like, flavor text at the end of the day. The key thing is like, I have made an oath to do a thing. Or behave in such a way.
Yes.
Whether it's like, I've made an oath to get vengeance on somebody, I've made an oath to protect people, I've made an oath to, be a fucking bastard if you're Oath of the Crown. Because obviously, as the new ones got introduced earlier, because in old versions of D&D, when alignment was a lot more strict, it was like, if you want to play a paladin, you have to be lawful good. Fifth edition threw that out the window because it introduced a bunch of bastard paladins. Because like, a paladin is not a good. The paladin is apparently not a good person, and B, not a religious person.
Nope.
If you take 5th edition as it's written.
Mhm.
Which is wild, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, because I was thinking about it because I used Flare as an example, but like there are plenty of cleric classes that fit the kind of holy warrior, like light,
Domain of
war.
Yeah.
You know, like there's plenty of clerics that don't really fit that like medic or like battlefield support role. They are definitely there to be a warrior.
Yeah.
Paladin is an idealist of a type. That's a cool way to put it, I think.
I'm not sure I,
Or like
I'm not sure I understand what you mean there.
Or like or like yeah, the pure ideal of a thing.
Yeah.
Like the manifestation of that ideal. Whether that
Right.
ideal is
I
actually
get you. I get.
Yeah. I kind of got
you.
they believe in that ideal. Yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of followed you.
So again, really, religion has no part in that.
No.
In its core,
The gods
in its
might
core
take-
element.
The gods might take an interest in something that is so fervent a belief.
Yes.
Makes perfect sense.
Yes.
Right? Like if you're the god of that thing that they are in it, like, reverently hold that ideal, then you would be like, I'll give this guy some power, because it's basically like one step away from worshipping them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that's
Like, adjacent.
that's why the basic the basic bitch paladin is the oath of devotion, or I'll take Bahamut because Bahamut stands for justice. It's like you don't technically have to follow Bahamut himself, but if you're an oath of devotion paladin who stands for justice,
You follow Bahamut.
Bahamut takes an interest in you. He's like, oh hey, I like what you're doing here. I'm gonna give you a bit of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is coming from someone who has a basic bitch, but oath of devotion Bahamut paladin. I love her very much, but she's basic. Stanley Speak once said, she is my least problematic character. I said she's also the most boring. Those two things are correlation.
Do I have paladins, right? Oh yes, I do. I do have paladins. Look out of your jib. Yes.
Carve it into your soul. Name that reference. 1, 2, 3. Nope, it's gone. Carve it into your soul.
Gone. It's not there.
Nope.
But yeah, I find that very interesting, that difference. I'm definitely playing with it in my setting. Like, in different places, you'll find, like, very different ideas of what a paladin is.
Yeah.
Very different ideas of what cleric is.
Yeah. It's the same way in that... It's weird, because it's like, when it comes to clerics and paladins, in my homebrew world, I very much sort of played to the stereotype of, as we said earlier, the clerics are the more sort of, like, a priest, more, than...
Yeah.
And your paladins are your sort of, like, defenders, crusaders, people with actual like armor and swords and muscle. Even though clerics of war do exist, and one of them is quite prevalent, it's mostly paladins. But on the flip side, at the same time in said world, I take warlocks as more of the 5th edition rules rather than the perceived of, like, you hear the word warlock and you think, oh, dark caster has made evil thing with demon, and I'm like, well, and I immediately go, well, no, because you can have a pact with a fae, or now even a celestial. So I was like, so being a warlock is not innately bad or innately dark, and so it's flipped in the same way of, like, being a paladin is not innately good or innately religious. Yeah. So it's weird that I do the one stereotype, but I don't do the other stereotype.
Yeah. See, it's funny. I feel like with clerics, like, if I look at, like, I think Flare is so far away from that, like, priestly image of a cleric that he's almost more of a paladin as a character. But then I've got Vandalus, who is, like, the most cleric. Like, even just using two of them as examples, right? Like, I've got the whole cleric spectrum. I haven't really. I've got one or two paladins. I don't even think you've met one or both of them.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I struggle with paladins. But then I think I find it easier to subvert the ideas of what a paladin is than play to what a paladin is. Like, I almost think I should play like a traditional paladin, because I think I don't I think in my head, when I make a character, I'm like, oh, I have to flip this on its head, reinvent the wheel. But you really don't, because as evidenced by many a good paladin, the character that we know, like you can make a really in-depth and interesting paladin that's traditional in so many inverted commas. Yeah, it's interesting. There's definitely some classes where I really need to mess around with it and challenge what my default setting is. Druids. I need to make more druids.
Probably, druid is probably the worst example, because I feel like there is no default setting with druid. Like, maybe people...
In my head there is.
Maybe people could make Circle of the Moon the default setting, but literally with druid, your circle that you pick defines your spec, because they are so flexible. So it's like, here's melee, here's spellcaster, here's healer.
Yeah, I should clarify. I don't mean in terms of, like, gameplay. I think in terms of style of character. I think of druids as, like, your nomadic, obsessed with nature, hobbit-ish. Like, that's the only setting I can put druids in.
Oh, right. You need to talk to me about that, because I have a, like...
Yeah. You have 1,000 druids.
I have so many druids. I mean, the best example that goes against your creed is Armida, the multi-class druid fighter, who was captain of a guard in a city, who it was shamed and lost her post because the king died. She was put on trial, but it was deemed to not be her fault, so she was just given a dishonourable discharge, and then became, a drunken alcoholic who became a bouncer for a bar because she could just turn into a fucking bear.
That took a turn.
Yeah, she lost,
Which is very fun. Hurry's a great example of this as well.
Yeah, Hurry's another great example. Yeah, I mean, Armida's, because she was captain, it was like her work was her life, so when she lost her position, she literally had nothing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's like, I've definitely tried messing with druid in that I've just, like, changed it from thinking of, like, forests. I've definitely tried, like, moving around, like, the type of nature they're associated with, but I still can't break that. Like, because I think Twilight, is it Twilight? No.
It's not Twilight anymore. Because that became a cleric. Yeah, it became a cleric.
But, like...
Stars.
That kind... Yeah, stars or whatever. Like, I think... Or even Wildfire, to some extent. Would do a good job of that in my head. Of, like, breaking it, not, like, completely away, but just changing how I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Hurry is a fantastic druid.
He is. He absolutely is.
Yeah.
I mean, I have two Wildfire druids technically in my head.
Yeah.
One is more of the traditional Wildfire druid, and the other is this reskinned character that we've dubbed the Shadowfire druid.
Yes.
That the other one is less like, oh, they're a Wildfire druid, and more they were a character concept which I had in my brain for a while that wasn't actually meant to be a D&D character. It was just a character. And then when the when the subclass got released, I was like, if I played them in D&D, they would be this. But they were just a character that I hadn't, like, stuck in a world or a universe. It was just, I wanted to have a Kitsune character, which was, fire and spirits and mischief, because I like Kitsune in mythology.
Yeah.
And then, freaking Wolf Druid, I don't need to explain that too much, do I? It's me.
No.
Wolf Druid. Very, very flexible. But AJ's Druid is wonderful. Because she immediately picked up the druid class and was like, how can I make this different?
Yeah.
I was really proud of her when she made her character, because the first character was lovely, but it was like sticking to what she knew, I felt. And the second one, she literally said to me, she's like, I'm gonna try something that I would never play, and I'm gonna go really, really wild and really out there. And I was like, yes.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? The first one you play, you kind of, even if you don't just make you but a character, you play something that's comfortable for you, and then I feel like I did the second character is just like, let's go off the rails. I did that with Glory and Posey, like
I made Linaris the Elven Ranger, and then afterwards I was forced to make Damara the Rogue because Spook took the Ranger. But her Cleric of Spores is wonderful. She's a changeling, but we're using the stat block of a changeling, but it's basically, can I literally play a sentient mushroom? And I was like, yes, I will 100% support that.
That's not the direction I thought this was going. Carry on.
Yeah, so she's basically a sentient mushroom. We've taken the stat block of a changeling. Her origin story is that this weird, because of how mushrooms are, this weird, strange spore was drifting around don't know where it came from, mystery, will be revealed in the future, and settled on a body, took root, and then just used that as like a framework, and then a person just popped out.
Yeah.
And that's her, and she calls herself Penny.
Oh my god.
Because she's got using some of the changeling things, because it has like the whole you can morph yourself, but it also has like the alternate personality thing that changelings can have. I think I can't remember if that's an Anarth Arcana thing or if that was still in there. So she role plays it that that sort of like alternate thing is actually the personality of the body of the person that the mushroom.
Oh my god, that's
it's
so good.
so good, isn't it? It's
Damn,
so
AJ.
good. It's so good. And she's so wonderful.
She's technically playing two characters. She's playing a sentient mushroom and then the person that
it kind of peeks.
body
It
is
peeks. It
empty.
hasn't come out too much, but sometimes it peeks through. Generally, she is just this weird sentient mushroom character that people can't. It's almost like a king thing where it's like people just kind of. They glance and just kind of accept that, like, oh, it's a person with like really weird clothes and like kind of mossy, and then if you actually stopped and examined it, it'd be like, oh, that's not a human.
mushroom all the way down.
that's oh.
So,
I love her. She has no interest. She has like no interest in any worldly possessions, and her greatest treasures are various molds that she finds.
Wonderful.
So whenever it's like, oh, you loot the person's pack and find, 5 silver and a piece of moldy bread, immediately the silver bag is just thrown aside, and she's like, yes, add it to the collection. And I'm just like, I love you so much. I love you so much.
Wild. See, what the fuck? Why can't I have ideas like that? Come on.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I think she saw the mushroom Unearthed Arcana and just decided to commit 100%, because it was in Unearthed Arcana when I told her she could play it. It hadn't even been released.
Yeah.
I was just like 100% go for it.
It's like, I remember when I was reading, I think they're both in Dashes actually, both the Spores Druid and the Hive Rogue? What are they called? The Bees Rogue?
Swarmkeeper.
Swarmkeeper. I was like, people are going to do some weird fucking things with these classes.
Yeah.
I might not be a big fan because they're two things I'm not particularly big fans of.
Yeah.
But they're going to be weird, and I appreciate that.
I mean, I might do a Swarmkeeper purely because even though it is referred to as a swarm, there is nothing in there to say that my swarm can't just be hundreds of teeny tiny hummingbirds.
Oh, that'd be great. I imagine you could do a really cool one with butterflies.
I feel like butterflies will be one that quite a few people go for. I feel like butterflies are the insect that people go for when they're not a big fan of insects.
But then I don't really like butterflies because moths. They're adjacent. Moths adjacent. But yeah, no, that's a good point. You could do a swarm of anything.
Yeah.
That would be how you do Crazy Cat Lady Rogue. You just have a swarm of cats. Tiny cats.
Yeah, what is it?
See, it's
but yeah, they keep it vague, as they do with a lot of stuff in the in the more recent D&D ones. They keep it vague so that people can reskin it.
Fuck you want with it.
So, like, original Ranger, it was like, oh, Beastmaster, you get a beast, whereas in the revised Ranger, they were like, Beastmaster, you get a beast spirit that comes to your aid.
Yes.
So literally,
it's for all the people who wanted dragons.
So literally, third level, a swarm of intangible nature spirits has bonded itself to you. Until you die, the swarm remains in your space, crawling or flying around you within your space. You determine its appearance, or you generate its appearance by rolling on the table. The examples in the table are swarming insects, mini twig blights, tiny birds.
I was about to say you could do plants.
Yeah, tiny birds and pixies.
Oh my god. Yeah, that would be a thing.
Basically, anything that is small and potentially can fly. It's the only prerequisite.
Or you can aesthetic it to make it do that.
Yeah.
In some way.
You can just have it floating.
Yeah, it's weird because, with I feel like with warlocks, obviously, I think I've made like all kinds of fucking warlock or warlock adjacent characters. Like, there's no like setting that my brain gets stuck in with those. There's a handful of classes where my brain is just like, it's this kind of. But I think like Tasha's specifically, as well as just like more recent Unearthed, I guess, has done a good job of changing that, because I think part of that might be why they made those classes, because some of the ones in Tasha's is like, this is so different from how this class is. And I appreciate that, because it changes the setting that my brain is stuck in for what kind of character that class can be.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that Wizards of the Coast of a company are very much trying to do moving forward with like everything, not just with like all the stuff that was in Tasha's, which very much does it, but even with the Unearthed Arcanas that are being released, is that they are very much trying to centre around the idea of these are rules, but don't let them define you. And do with it what you want, because they're literally every single like new race option that they've come out over this entire year has had like no ability score limitations, because of course ability score limitations mean that people instinctively go, well, I don't want to play this with this class because it's not optimal. So Wizards of the Coast have literally gone, forget that, forget about being optimal, just pick what you want.
Which,
love it.
That's my shit. The less optimal, the better.
It's like, I want to play a wizard dragonborn, but they don't get intelligence as a racial modifier. And Wizard of the Coast just went, fuck it, now they do. Have whatever modifier you want.
Yeah, whatever makes sense for you. Yeah. Yeah, Tasha's definitely made me look at a couple classes and go, you know what, I could play that. We've talked about this before, but I've had a real itch to play Rogue since Tasha came out. Because all the Rogue ones in Tasha's are fucking...
They're all nuts.
Yeah.
Because Rogues weren't fucking extra enough.
Yeah. And I'm a big fan of when you make any class more extra.
That's what we like in D&D, we like to be extra.
I mean,
what's the point?
Gestures at stealth. All of this.
If I'm not being ridiculously extra, then what's the point?
What's the point?
Why am I playing D&D?
Yeah, exactly. I do really want to play my my Drow Inquisitive Lady Detective rogue. Yeah. And being that much all the time would be so much fun. Just being such a presence in a space. I don't know how she would get on with an adventuring party.
Oh my god, I love the idea. Oh my god, I love the idea. Just because my brain is like, oh hey, you like this thing. If you've got your inquisitive drow lady who's like very regal and filling up the room, and then next to her is this teeny tiny kobold with a notepad just writing down everything she says.
Detective campaign when?
Yes! Sherlock and Watson. Or Powered Monroe.
Is that what Dimension 20 are doing right now? They've basically made a mini campaign which is just a big murder mystery and the whole party are investigating. Is that what they're doing right now? I think I read something about that.
I don't know.
But
I just had the mental image of this tall regal drow lady and this teeny tiny kobold with a notepad stood next to her. just writing it down.
Yes. Make it happen.
I don't know what they would be. I already have a kobold wizard. They're called Nert, so probably not that.
Yeah.
Maybe a creation bard. They're writing stuff.
Oh, we talked about creation bards before,
yeah,
but
we did.
Bards, man. Bards.
Your friend should have been a bard.
Man. That's another class where I mentally put it in a category.
Yeah.
Even though, again, you don't have to.
Yep. Crush the stereotypes under your boot.
Yeah.
That's why. I think that's one of the reasons when I made Felvia, I was like, anything sexual, throw it out the window. Not interested. Don't want it.
Yeah.
So I'm all down to have sweet, loving, happy relationships, but get rid of that sexy stuff. And then she uses that to her advantage.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Because, like, if I can get the level of just off the rails that Posey is with every character I ever make. I mean, Posey's pretty. As a character pitch, she's pretty on the rails, but for me, she's like way off the reservation.
See, that's the thing, is that off the rails is my default setting.
Yes. Gestures are low. Yeah. Yeah, we were talking earlier about, like, first character is, no, if not, kind of a safe play.
Mm.
But, like, I think definitely Player Princess, we were all like, what if?
Let's go nuts.
What if we did this? What if we all went a little feral?
Oh no, she has been banished. Hello.
Oh no, screaming child is
I've
here.
been quiet all night, but now Dad's going to bed, so it's just been plonked in here. I heard the door shut, and then I heard it open and shut again. I was like, I know what that is. That is open, place cat, shut.
Yes. Is that your first D&D character, okay, Das? Is that Das's first D&D character? That isn't the same, right? It might be.
No, he's not. He's played loads of characters before Thane.
Well, like, in a campaign.
Lander.
Oh. For my time.
Hadron.
Hadron wasn't before Thane.
Was it?
Hadron was after Thane, yeah.
I've forgotten when Oakheart started, because it's just...
Oakheart started in...
forever. Yeah, it's the longest running character.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's only the longest running
Just because Oakheart is going to go on too long.
That's,
Oakheart's going to go on a very long time.
Yeah. Lander and Merok, I know, for a start. Because Merok was played as a player character before he was an NPC. Hello, grumpy child.
Grumpy. Yeah, I'm really interested. This is something that, like, I won't get to observe unless I stay in the space for a really long time. But, like, I love watching people who've played characters for a long time make new characters. Like, obviously I've got to see that with SKT with all of you guys, even though I don't know all your new characters all the way through yet. Like, and I've got to watch it in Critical Role. Like, when you get, like, especially if you more than a couple times, like, I like, what is someone's third or fourth long-running D&D character like? Like, that's what I like, is it, because you've played many a character in your time. So
yes.
watching that, the differences and the similarities that come out when you're...
I'm trying to think what my chain was. So it was Lunaris was the first one who was basic bitch, and then it goes Delmara, then I think technically Jedi came next, then Kirok, then I think I had Almeida next, Sarah, no, Tala, then Sarah, then Kika.
Yeah. Do you like that? So, like, there's so much there to be said about
I mean,
those
when you
characters.
put them in a line, you can see how basically I always try to make the next one different from the one just before it.
Well, yeah, but I think that's universally true, just to varying extents.
Yeah.
But it just interests me what people's, like, D&D character portfolio, not like when you're DMing, but like characters that you inhabit for like more than a month. Like, how those all, what that portfolio ends up looking like. You know?
Oh yeah, V-Ray, forgot V-Ray. Newest one.
See, what we've learned about you here, Das, is that you really like the letters A and E next to each other, which I respect.
That comes from just being Irish.
It's also just like a good aesthetic in like how it's written,
It's
but also
good
how
for
it's
fantasy names.
Yeah. God knows I've fucking done that. Gestures at the D&D party. Family. Yeah, that's it. Basically. It's like my characters I've inhabited list is quite short. But even that, like, Glory, Marin, Posey, that's a lot. that's a lot. There's probably a lot you could draw between those three as well.
Mhm.
I don't know. I find it interesting. We have talked about this before, off stream about a year and a half ago. You have played a lot, Das. This is why we don't count NPCs, otherwise we'll be here for a million years.
We all would be. Or concepts, because gestures to the
Yeah.
list.
I've spent more time as Thane alone than all of the rest put together.
So I think Delmara still has the title for most time inhabited by me, because the campaign went longer, but obviously I spent a lot of time out of session doing writing for her and drawing art for her and just thinking about her.
Oh yeah, when I say inhabited by, I entire time from start to finish that you played them, because even if you weren't actively playing, you were still them.
Yeah, I mean, she still lives rent free in my head, because sometimes I will doodle stuff for her and think about stuff for her.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I mean, she's there now, but she's not retired. But you know what I mean.
I am partially retired in a way.
Yes, retired. Glory would love to be retired. Yeah. I don't know. I find it interesting. Because I think NPCs are kind of harder to count because you kind of don't decide which ones of them stick around.
Yeah.
Anyway. Is that on D&D talk that's distracted me from writing?
I mean, that's part of the concept of the next campaign. So, Delmara disappeared and didn't come back, and it's like, well, shit, how the hell do you find a rogue? God damn it, how do you find a high-level rogue? Shit, a high-level ranger. There you go.
Yeah. Probably right. Yeah. Oh, thank you. I cannot attain these fantasies. No.
I think it's fun to look at Kika just, like, in context to, like, everything else around her and to the other characters, because it's like, Kirok was already kind of wild to start with, but that came with the class. Of just being,
literally wild magic.
of me literally just discovering there was a bird race and me like, well, I want to play a bird, and then I was like, well, I want to play a caster because I've never played a caster before, and it's like, well, what was the easiest caster? And in my mind I was like, well, sorcerer, because I haven't got to mess around with preparing spells. So I was like,
what
that'd
I
be easier.
Interesting. Not to talk about you and your making of characters as if it was like, I don't know, but like
analyze me.
I kind of am about to. What I find interesting with the difference between Kika and Kirok from like how they, I guess, are built, quote unquote, is kind of like you just said. Like Kirok is built off of that race class combo. That's the kind of foundation where you started. It was like, well, what is a wild magic sorcerer? What is an Aarakocra? Like, Kika is built off of the understanding of the world as we left it. It is what does a character look like that is raised in this exact combination of characters and setting.
Yes.
Like, so good. And then like class and stuff was built on top of that, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Like you started with that as the foundational base.
Yeah, literally
really,
yeah.
Like an interesting shift.
Yeah.
Because it's a legacy campaign.
It is, yeah. That is how Kika was made. Whereas others were like, well, it's a legacy campaign, but I'm just going to play something new and something different. Whereas because I was like, well, I want to play Kirok's child and daughter, and I was like, well, how does that affect things? How does that change things? Because she's been raised in this world and has been influenced by these people. And then I was like, okay, so which class happens? And it's like, in her upbringing, it's like, will she have a deity? Is she taught magic? Does she, is she a fighter? Does she learn this? Does she learn that? What powerful people are around her? The answer was a lot.
Yeah, you're building it off of, because Kika can only exist and would only be built the way Kika is built because you played Kirok for so long.
Yes.
And because you have an understanding of everything that happened in this story and this world.
Things that Kirok did have a definable effect on one-to-one thing on Kika. There are multiple instances in Storm King's Thunder where it's like, if Kirok did not do this thing, Kika would be different. She would be a different class or a different personality or whatever.
And what I would love to hear other people who have played SKT and who are now playing Black Princess with us, whether that was also true. Because I definitely think, even though Posey is completely, basically her own thing from the SKT, she's not a descendant of any of the SKT characters, for example. I'm still, I think, the same. I'm building it off of the understanding of the world, not what if I played this race class. You know? She still comes out of that same place, even though she's entirely new. Because I think that is what we reacted to. It's hard to explain in words that make sense. Like, even Runara, right? Like, I think Runara's built off that, like, what if this kind of character occurred in this place, knowing what that place is like.
Yeah.
From what I've... sorry, Kay, if I'm misrepresenting you.
Yeah, because I always remember how Runara was like when we first met her. There was that little hint of fangirliness of like, oh, I've heard all these stories and...
Correct. Thank you, Kay.
Which then...
I do listen when you talk.
Which bounced off Kika and Wittick.
I definitely built around the world. Yeah.
Like,
see, isn't that interesting, that shift?
It is, yeah. I mean, it helps that we had such a great world to build in, because it is almost akin to like when we made characters for Final Fantasy. It's like there was a pre-existing world with pre-existing rules, with pre-existing classes and laws and things. So we learn about the world and then make the character. Whereas traditionally in most D&D games, it's like you make your character and then learn about the world.
Yeah, because to some extent the world is built for you.
Yeah.
You know, even though we were using pre-written. As much as with Das or Me, anything is pre-written.
A version of Faerun.
Yes. Like, it procedurally generates around you, essentially. So when you then come back in, that section is still there. You know, you can't undo that knowledge in your brain. Even though you're obviously trying not to meta, like, that's your starting point. Has shifted fundamentally.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you took the same exact group of people and were like, okay, we are doing a totally different game, totally different world, it's all from scratch, make characters. We would all go back to the books and be like, okay, what kind of race class combo would I want to play? What kind of character? It's intrinsic to that idea.
Yeah,
and
it's part of the core of D&D, because it's, you know, we did it with well, at least I did with Okar, of like, before I knew anything about the world, I was like, okay, I want to play this class.
Yeah, but then I'm like, you know, like, how does that change over if you kept going? Like, how extreme does that get? Like, because you can't ever go back at it looking at it as if you don't know. So it's always from there going to be a response to that. If that makes any sense, what I'm saying. So, like, what does... Like, not saying we would ever do this, but just, like... I could watch more Arcadium, who does, like, 85 games in the same world at the same time. I could probably see that. But, like, what does your, I don't know, fourth character in the same world look like? You know, like, and you know, some of us might get unlucky enough to see this happen.
Well, again, it depends, because it's like, you know, if you, because, you know, I enjoy having my characters stay alive, but obviously generally you can be unlucky and be like, well, your character died, so there's no way that you wouldn't have an offspring, so you wouldn't continue your lineage.
No. Because
as soon as the idea of a sequel was presented to me, I was like, well, I can't not play their kid, because that's just perfect. I've done the
Yeah.
same thing with Delmar in Blood and Sand 2. It's like, well, I gotta play their kid. I gotta continue the story because
Yeah.
I
I had
enjoyed the
complete-
first story so much. I want to continue it, but like
Yeah,
with a new person.
That's so interesting because it was established at the end of SKT that Gloria and Ash had a kid, but my reaction was, I do not want to play that kid.
I remember.
That's interesting.
Yeah. That's the thing, because I've done it once. I don't know if I would chain it. Obviously,
Like how many
it's
times
way
you
too
would keep
it's way
that
too early to tell.
Yeah,
But
at a
I
certain
don't
point,
know
what
if
is
I
it, like a
at this point in
trap?
time I couldn't visualize playing then Kika's child.
Yeah.
Like
In like,
yeah.
God, that seems like a million miles away, but like,
Well,
yeah,
it does because she's a baby.
she's a child, yeah.
But
But,
so at this point in time, I like can't visualize it. So if we, did do another SK3,
Yeah.
then
Jesus.
I probably at this point in time I think I would play something new. But obviously, there's no way of knowing based on how Pop finishes.
Yeah, the world might end.
There's always that. I want to cuddle. Give me a hug.
And also, like, again, this has never happened to any of us yet, touch wood. But like, can you make a character if your character dies that isn't a response to that? I don't think you can. I think on some subconscious level, it would, like, there's a lot to be said about Caduceus. Well, I won't say much about it, but like, I think it's so interesting. I love D&D. I love that everything in D&D, you and whoever you start a campaign with, you will sit down in a metaphorical way at a table, and you keep putting things on that table. And you can never take anything off the table. You can just keep putting stuff on it for as long as you want. And you can put some random shit in there if you want. You can go completely haywire and break some of it, but like you are always building on that.
Yeah.
So in my brain, I'm like, well, how tall can it get? You're welcome to the serotonin, Das.
We live to serve.
Your regular reminder that you do good work.
But also a regular reminder that because you're ill, you definitely need to be drinking plenty of water.
Bed, yeah. Both of those things. We're both correct. You should drink water and also go to sleep.
Yeah, it is 10 o'clock.
I'm having big sip. I will also have
Eagle
big sip because I haven't had any yet.
Get a big sip, everybody.
Big sip. Yeah.
I did not touch
I
Ix
love
this
D&D.
week. I think I've come to the conclusion that Ix is not being touched this week.
I have also. Not that much. Who is examining the Teefs?
Wouldn't you like to know?
I would. I can see long hair and that's about it. So far. Yeah, I just love, I don't know, I love D&D collaborative storytelling stuff. There's literally a game that me and Das found that was basically this concept. It was basically, what was it called, Lineage or something? It was literally a game that you could play it solo, but like, it was a role-playing game where it wasn't even like a role-playing game. It was you made a massive family tree for, I think the like suggested was like a royal family for a kingdom, and you rolled for like this kind of thing happened, and you had to come up with what kind of thing happened. And the idea was that at the end you would have like this tome or like all the paper of like this massive story of this kingdom full of like, so there's like roles where it's like this character kills another character on the family tree, and you have to come up with why, and it just ends up as this crazy narrative that you make in like an hour. And like, I love that shit. All of that stuff is so good. See, the only thing with that game though, Das, is like, I don't know if I could play that and not like, I think I would take it too far. But it's basically just world building collaborativity at that point in that one. I still think you could use that as a world building tool. Just do like 2 2 or 3 lines of it and then be like, what kind of kingdom is left when this goes down? When it's this disorganized, or not even that. Like, the suggested is for it to be a royal family, but you could probably do it with any kind of family, as long as it's open to a sufficient amount of drama or has power over something. See, Oakheart is an interesting one because it would depend on, like, it depends what you're building. Like, because I've made it very clear that Oakheart is much bigger than where it's currently set. You could do a campaign in a part of Imazius that you guys didn't really touch, so it could be a whole new thing. Could it? I don't know. Because I think you guys would still build off of what you knew. Like, if I was like, I'm making it, Oakheart 2's happening, it's going to be on a completely different continent, I don't think you guys would be like, starting from square one again.
No, because we know a lot more about the world again. It's again,
Yeah.
it goes much more into that territory of like making a character in Final Fantasy than just making a D&D character. It's like we know that there is a world here established, and we will more than likely ask questions if there's something we don't know.
Yeah. It would depend how, you know, if we take PK next week in Oakheart, then I think the character you would make Das would be very different than if we finish Oakheart, like, years from now.
Yeah,
which is a weird thing to say.
There is a very strong difference between making a new character because you TPK'd and making a new character because it's a new campaign.
Yeah. Not just because there will probably be a very different world, because if you TPK on a D&D party, they're normally trying to prevent something terrible.
Yeah, like, yeah. In my campaign, my homebrew one has a failure condition of, like, this is a thing that will happen. And yes, eventually the players will be working towards to stop it, but because they're still in baby levels, they don't even know about it. But I'm like, there is an apocalyptic event that needs to be stopped. And I already know in my mind, I'm like, if they fail, then I will make a new campaign where that apocalypse happened.
Yes. I've had to make so many... I guess you would call them failure conditions, but I wouldn't necessarily call them that for Oakheart. Like, the example I've used before with you guys, but for stream, is that I went to the Feywild. My Feywild table, when they leave the Feywild, there's time travel involved, is different from the standard D&D one. And there is a very high number in there. So it's like, they managed to avoid this, but I could have rolled on that table. I was very much preparing for, if I have to roll on this table and it's 200 years, I have to be ready for that. Because I probably wouldn't have rolled it, to be honest. I would have got one of you guys to roll it. Because that's what I do in Oakheart when I have to roll stressful things on tables, is I get you guys to roll them.
Gee, thanks.
Because the guilt should be with you guys. I should feel nothing. But also, like, I just, again, this is a complete tangent, but, like, I love as a DM making sure as much of it is in your hands as possible, even if you don't necessarily know what you have done. The D4s was the thing in the beginning, right? It's like, roll a D4. Why? What does it do?
Why?
What is it achieving? I was like, okay. I would carry on. I'd be like, what did I do? But you did something. Oh, I've just put back into your drawing, Blue.
Yay! There it is.
I know who that is.
Yeah, I'm glad.
My lady.
What nice
Lady
teeth.
of Storms.
What nice teeth you have.
She would say that. That depends on a great many things, Daz. But hypothetically. The facial expression on Tala makes a lot of sense now. That's a nice. I like how you've done that too.
Thank you. That's the good serotonin for me.
I don't know. That visual is one of those ones I just like. Not to toot my own horn, but I really love it.
yeah. Why do you think I drew it? I had the visual, and I was like, oh, I can't not draw this.
It's so. I don't even know what vibe it is, but it's a vibe, you know. Is it scary? I don't know if it's scary. It's definitely like an aura, though. It is like a presence, isn't it? Yeah, that's the duality, Daz. That's the the blue to me dichotomy. Do you make it a descendant of that character, or do you go completely and be like, I want to make something that has nothing to do with any of that? And what was fun about, obviously, Black Princess with that, not to explain a campaign that we're all in, but like, obviously we have a balance of those. We have characters that are to do with the old characters, and we have characters that are not, and they struggle to understand what the fuck you guys are talking about all the time. To the point where it becomes a bit. I'm gonna have to draw out one day in my head what Posy's family chart looked like before you corrected it.
We have to make it a nice thing that we can do when we actually get to meet up and go for coffee. Like, get your notebook and find an empty page. You draw out the family tree, and then I will take it off you and I will put in the edits.
I have to bring the pages I was making for Posy's actual notebook, but yeah. God. It's so fun trying to reconceive that whole like thing with no context. Like it's a bit, but it's also a lot of fun. To be like, what the fuck? What is happening? How do you know this person? They can't all be family, surely.
So glad you made the important clarification of like, I don't see why being related to someone by blood has to define whether they're your family or not. It's an important thing for Kika. And I suppose it was for Kirok as well. I think that was something that she kind of inherited.
Yeah. Posy, you'll get it one day, baby. I've just remembered where Player Princess ended.
We go this week? I can't remember.
No.
Okay.
But we are good for a cop.
Nice.
Because I did myself a solid and did a bunch of prepping in advance.
That's fair.
Much too well good, yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, nah, don't worry. I didn't think we were running anyway, even before you go. You can tell. We've been talking about Player Princess, and then I go very quiet and I just start shaking my head. I'm thinking about Posy. I promise you that is exactly what I'm thinking about. Like, there's so many things I would say, but I can't. But just... That girl. Well, my instinct earlier was to write a tiny, tiny little thing about. Considering you're drawing her, I should probably just leave it.
Well, since you asked.
Since you insisted. Oh no, what folder does this go in? Put it in blue Tala folder and just leave it for fine.
Wait, what? You can't do this to me.
You gave me access.
Fuck. At least
There's
put
a
it. At least
fix
put it in the.
folder right
At least put it in the fix, not in the freaking notes, because I'll never find it. Put it in the fix subfolder, please.
But what if I don't want you to find it, Blue?
Then why would you put it in my folder?
Do I nerve you because you know it's there? I don't know where this energy is coming from.
It's probably coming from
That's what
this
happened.
picture.
Yeah, the combination of this picture and talking about Dr. Deck earlier and creepy games. Imasius. I mean, it should technically go. Ooh, that's not spelled correctly. Oh, right, yeah, of course she has her own folder. I'm fucking. Of course she does. What was this? It's a blank document. Last edit was the 16th of September 2019.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Yeah, that's so real.
I can't argue with that.
I wouldn't even classify it as blue drawing your villain specifically. Blue drawing villains. Because I reacted this way back when you used to draw AJ, when you draw Crumble Bottom, like...
Wow.
I live off it.
The thing to remember, the thing is, chat, is that obviously this has been streamed. Much like with Dalmara and Crumble, that there are pictures that Das has seen. There are pictures that Curls have seen that have not been shared and posted. Because obviously in my brain, as with every picture I ever draw, I'm like, oh, it's just a sketch, it's not very good, I might finish it one day, I don't know, but here I'm gonna show it to Curls, and Curls just sort of goes... You did the same gesture!
I wasn't even tabbed in, I didn't even see you
I
do it.
hate her so much.
Where is this fucking thing? I know I've written this thing before. Where did I put it, though? Oh, this will be in my actual D&D folder, because it was a thing and became a monologue, which I have said in game.
Yes.
Where is that?
Yes.
Wait, what was that? Oh! It's like Astor Manor. What is that? Right, yeah. Astor's house. Andre's house. How could I forget? My notes? No. Where did that awful thing go? Was it in the reclamation? When was that? When did that happen? Is that in Fallon's Moor? I don't remember what's going on in it. There? If not, I know you have a copy of it, so I might go digging through your folders. Nope, there it is. Session 89.
Yes. Not only do I draw stuff and send it to Curls, she writes stuff and sends it to me.
Yeah, it's definitely is it symbiotic? it's that is mutual. Where did that awful thing go? Is both Tala and Mara.
Yeah, it's a mutual feeling.
It's more complicated on one of those sides. No clarification on which. maybe mutually more complicated. I don't know.
We make it more complicated.
I keep every so often I scroll through my Twitter to find something, and I find the tweet you did after we did the RP where Mara and Tala actually got to talk. where it was like when the DM hits you with the backstory, it was the tomato. I think about that a lot.
The tomato just perfectly encapsulated.
Blinking.
Just sort of staring at the floor, just like. Because it was very much I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah. That is one of those. There's a lot of moments in Okart which I wish I had like either a better memory of or just like had recorded the cameras because like your face that whole conversation was excellent. Or like just after.
I've learned that I do a lot of acting with my face.
Yeah.
I think it's something I've developed over the years of using Roll20 because when I play at the table, I use body language quite a lot, and I've learned over the years that in Roll20 and playing online, I only have my face.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's something that I do try to do.
Yeah. I've definitely... I can tell. I really lose track of a session when I'm up here with all of you, but definitely with you a lot because I'm more confident taking swings at reacting to your body language because I know with you it's intentional. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Not to my other players, I love you, I'm not discrediting you, especially Stacey, you do a lot of good hurry body language. But I've RP'd with you in so many contexts that I'm pretty confident of being like, that face is in character.
It's just you've known me so long. Because even back in Agco days.
Yeah. And I think it's mutual because there's sometimes where I'm doing stuff as an NPC and you react to it and I'm like, good catch.
there's always that moment where you say something and you just see the slight tilt of the head, just like,
yeah.
Nothing gets said, but it's like you caught that.
That's your peak Tala. I caught that. You know that I caught that. Yeah. God, I really said all this out loud, huh?
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the very, very few things that I pre-wrote and delivered essentially as a monologue.
Mm-hmm.
Blue knows this, no one else does because they didn't get to hear it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I can pretty much also sometimes tell when you have something that's semi pre-written.
Yeah, I don't do it.
It's not very often.
Yeah. I'd much rather make it up, but sometimes I either want something to hit really hard or to deliver a very specific way that I'm like, I need to control this tone and I'm not going to be able to do that on the fly. Mm-hmm. So like Narissa's speech when she was pretending to be Ophelia, I had to pre-write parts of that, not the whole thing, but parts of that because that tone was very important.
Does somebody want another hug? No. No.
With me, it's like before I go off a you good test. I mostly try and I like to know that you're all okay. Like, I feel like I should ask more at the end of sessions because I do find myself wondering sometimes. I'm like, I hope I didn't actually like upset them or unnerve them in a way that they didn't enjoy. I think so far I've mostly been okay. I know I have messed up sometimes.
I mean, at least with me, I can say that I'm generally okay. I wouldn't even say that I've gotten pretty good. I think I've always been somewhat decent of like, yes, I get invested in things and like, you know, you've seen myself when I'm like slamming my hands on the table and stuff. But I have always been somewhat pretty good about having that sort of disconnect of like when we're done, like when we're done talking about it and it's like, yeah, I'll think about it, but I'm okay. I do sort of have like a shut off of like, okay, I'm good, and I do sort of have that disconnect of like, it's just a game, and it doesn't physically hurt me.
Yeah. And it doesn't like bleed into you too much.
No, it doesn't with me.
Yeah.
I'm generally alright with that, having that disconnect of like, yes, my character's doing bad things, but that's not me.
Yeah.
But I know with some people it's quite hard, and you know, everybody's different, but to at least put your mind at ease with me is that I'm generally very good with this.
Yeah, and also like, I think also we generally in OCART tend to anyway, but just having like 5 minutes after sessions just to deflate.
Yeah.
Because OCART can get heavy, I don't know, in a way that worries me sometimes, but is generally I think okay across the board. Yeah. And if it wasn't,
it's kind of like having a debrief, I suppose, is the best term for it, isn't it? It's a debrief.
Yeah. I definitely have to like deflate at the end of OCART sessions, but that's more because of the stress of running than the content. But I could imagine, like, if I was a player in OCART, I could imagine some sessions being like, okay, I need to let this all ooze out of me for a bit before I go to bed and try and sleep on that, you know. Because, it depends what happens, doesn't it? Heavily invested because we love your work, yeah. And again, you can be heavily invested. You can be like, oh my god, what is happening? But it's obviously making sure that you're actually okay. Like, but I am reassured that for the most part I know you guys are okay, and that you guys reassure me that you're actually okay and that you are having fun. I think I've memed about this on Twitter before, but like obviously a lot happens at OCART. And it's good to like the reassurance of like, no, we are good. We care a lot. Even though we all come out of sessions, that you guys come out of sessions sometimes like looking like you've gained 20 years on your life. Yeah, I guess it is like Final Fantasy 14. Like sometimes it's like, well, the way I talk about Final Fantasy 14 is like I've been through an event.
Yeah. See, again, I find that I tend to be okay with these things and have this disconnect of like, at the moment I'm like, oh, this is aggravating and sad, but then afterwards when you guys are like, how are you? I'm like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm okay. It was upsetting, but I'm good, ready to carry on.
Yeah.
Let's continue the story. I want to know what happens.
It manifests investment. We care too much, that is the issue. Yeah, there's a difference between like I'm gonna go into a conspiracy board because I'm losing it a little to like when you finish a session, like I don't think I've ever had this with D&D, but like I know it can happen where like you feel kind of icky. I try and avoid that.
Yeah,
and
I don't
it's
think I've ever had it happen in D&D.
And that's just working out boundaries, right? Like, that's just working out what is too dark, what is...
Yeah, well, again, I think it benefits in that we know each other so well that I've never been in a situation where I felt icky because you just know what I am and aren't okay with. Which is generally, honestly, most things.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Again,
like,
I have this disconnect that I'm able to do that I know some people can't.
Yeah. And I've definitely, like, you know, I do push that with you more because I know I can get away with it. But at the same time, it's like, I do always want to be sure that it's okay.
Again, it comes from, like, personal boundaries and stuff like that. And, like, when you it's literally just playing with someone and knowing someone so long, you just kind of know what what you would and wouldn't say to them just because you know the person.
Yeah. I definitely get that, Des. I definitely get that. I think you guys could kind of tell after we did that fight with Edmund. Like, but like after I did that fight with Edmund, I was like, I don't feel good. Like, as much as I enjoyed it a lot, and I felt the session went really well, I really enjoyed it. Like, oh god, having like some of the things that he said I could just say them because I was playing that character. I was like, who is that? Oh god, that's gross. But yeah, I get that does. It works out for the best because that's when you get the best. Like the specific example I'm thinking of got the strongest reaction from you guys because you guys were like, I don't like this map. Ooh, angry baby.
She's at that point in the evening where it's like, I wish to be free.
I can see the squidge happening.
Grumbles. I wish to be free.
Playing a terrible person well and finding it well done and investing in your party is very satisfying but horrid. Yeah. I feel that. I think it's almost easier as a DM though, because I get to balance it by playing other people that are not like that,
That's
or
the thing.
who are the opposite of that.
Yeah, because playing like villains and bad guys and stuff, it's always. I've spoken about this also in game team stuff. Like because we do those one shots quite frequently. It's been like, oh, it'd be interesting to play like this kind of like shitty kind of person for a one shot, but then they always say, oh, but I could never do it for a campaign. So do it for like 1 or 2 sessions, but could never do it for a campaign. It's sort of the same with villains. It's like you can do it every once in a while, but that's because you get to do other stuff.
Yeah, and like none of my NPCs are like quote unquote uncomplicated or don't have darker elements, but they're not that. They're not the villains. Like they don't say those things that are just like, God. Yeah, you get that balance, and that's part of the joy of being a DM. You get to make your players viscerally angry at you, and then you get to have sweet heart to hearts with them. I need to close this monologue because it gives me shudders. Although I am going to write about it, so cause it's fucked up. God. I know she like wouldn't appreciate it, but I do want to give Tala a hug sometimes.
Aww.
I want to hug all the Occult party, but like. Yeah. I want to hug all of the Occult party for completely different reasons. I think that's kind of fair. Huri's been trying. That's always true. Huri's always trying. Oh, you mean to hug Tala? I was like, hug who?
I just picture her hand covering his entire face, just like, no.
No. You got close once. It's a personal quest for you as a frog.
Hurry, Kika, hugging everyone.
I appreciate it. Definitely. I have a whole cast of characters who could use a hug. Looking at my NPC roster, like, some of you really do just need a hug. That's what you really need.
That's not true, Dess. I got a little confronted at the end. Towards the end of Buns and the group with the NPCs sort of went, no, we're not doing this.
Her trying to help but doesn't read Tala at all. Or sort of. Yeah. That seems about right.
I mean, Tala is generally not the most readable person.
Tala is hostile to attempts to read.
I just picture the room of the old lady with the gun.
I'm trying to like look at Tala for more than 2 seconds and it's like, can I make an insight? And Tala's like, no. No, you can't.
Stop looking at me.
Yeah. I think she's actually said that in character before, hasn't she?
Oh yeah, that was definitely the thing. That's the reason that Galgron never really got confronted is because as players we were like, well, if we do this, we're just going to become smears. So
Yep.
there is no point. That was kind of that was a little bit of the just like there's no point because it will just be, you know, rocks fall, everyone dies. It's like, okay, well, you know, breath weapon, everyone dies. We were like, okay, this is just pointless. So we're not going to try. We're not going to try. That's why they only sort of finally stood up when it was like, oh, we also have, you know, all of these people who can back us up.
Yes. He knows she's in need of something, but he's running out of ideas that work. As her DM, I can confirm that what Tala needs...
It's amazing how the words "as DM" can sometimes say "as your therapist."
The end of the sentence was going to be, as your DM, I can tell you from a place of authority that what Tala needs is therapy.
Oh boy.
Tala needs, as someone who loves her very, very dearly, therapy and a mirror.
Oh, I'd be the first person to call her out for being an absolute piece of shit. She is absolute garbage.
I love her so much.
Oh, I love her, but she's
Also
absolute
want to
garbage.
grab her by the shoulders and shake her.
Then it's the Galgron situation of like, oh, I would like to grab her shoulders and shake her, and
Yeah,
it's
and
like,
she would kill
cool,
me.
if you want to have your head bitten off.
I would die. I'm very aware.
It's very hard to deal with that situation where it's like any attempts to fix it just get met with death.
I feel that, Daz. I feel that big time. Big time. I'm trying to get better at it.
Yeah, that's the problem, I suppose, that she is highly confrontational.
Confrontational. that's one of her main character traits.
But, you know, that's why she has, you know, proficiency in like intimidation and stuff as, you know, part of her character of like, yes, I'm going to shout at people to do what I do, and I'm going to threaten them. So she doesn't generally get involved in conversations until it's like, okay, a point has been reached now. This is where I cracks knuckles. This is where I step in.
Or alternatively, these are your people, Tala. You talk to them.
Funny how that changes things around, isn't it?
Yeah. Can I just say, as someone who has RP'd off of you for a very long time, or with you for a very long time, it's very weird to play a character who can tell your character what to do. I remember when you started encountering red furs, I was like, I'm just gonna lean into this, but wow, this is a weird energy. Yeah, was it the first time I was playing Donald?
Probably.
It was Donald or Teleshad, where I said something a little snappy, that was an order, and I was like, this feels weird. I ain't used to this energy, but it worked really well. To be fair, who did you try and talk to? Was it Teleshad? That's just Teleshad. That's what she's like.
Not a good example.
Yeah, she's a lot. She's a lot. Yeah. Yeah, High Tigress is a whole thing.
Yeah. That's something to deal with at a later date.
That's like it's one of the issues that's in a basket in the corner. It's like something's definitely up with this, but we can't look at it right now.
Yeah, it is something that Tala has registered of like, there's something here, but I can't address it.
Yeah, we can't do it right now. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. it's so interesting because you're also removed from those sort of things. But it'd be interesting to play those characters that have a similar dynamic as the Rippers do to Tala with other characters. As much as any of you have those kind of characters. I have that too. I've gotten better the more I have done. I'm trying with Posey. I don't know if it's super obvious, but like, bless you, my goodness. I'm trying to engage with the roleplay where I don't necessarily like need something important conveyed, if that makes sense. Because with Glory, she was generally pretty private, pretty quiet, unless someone came up to her and was like, okay, let's talk about this. Come on now. But with Posey, I'm trying to do more things like, you know, the family tree thing. As much as it's a goof, like, trying to do more of that kind of very... I'm just kind of throwing myself into a conversation with no idea of where I'm going with it, kind of RP.
That's a good thing to do. Like, when we were speaking before with, like, Spook and Stanji, like, last week, is that Blood and Sand didn't have a lot of that, and I feel like, you know, there's a lot of, you know, and that's why it's like, oh, there's character stuff that didn't come out, characters maybe didn't evolve and change that much, and I've said, I was like, well, I feel that's because in comparison to Storm Kings and Plight of Princes and Okar, there just wasn't that roleplay stuff. And I said that's not through anybody's fault. It was our it was our first D&D campaign with basically our first characters that over an extended period we weren't used to it, and it's something that we've learned to do.
And it's tough because you can, if you try and like artificially put it in, it doesn't really work. Or like it pads it in a way that's not like organic and feels a little odd. But like trying to find those moments, trying to find characters where you're like, I'm trying to do this with Posey, but I'm also trying not to like derail everything. Where it's like, I just want to launch in with one thing and see where the conversation goes. It's like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example. But I've definitely got some in my head where I'm like, I want to start the conversation here and see where it goes. Because I kind of... That's one of the things I really wanted to do with Posey, because Posey is a big stretch for me RP-wise anyway, so I guess we'll go the rest of the way. But it's definitely helping me be a little bit more RP literate, improv good. And definitely I'm trying to do that more in OCOP too, with my NPCs. I am trying. Because I think I'm also really guilty of not even necessarily having a lot written, but definitely having a lot of like ideas about how characters feel, or just like a broader picture of a character, and then I don't do anything to convey it. I have that with Glory a lot. I don't think I will ever refer to Zal, Hurry, and Thane as anything but the Trez royalty boys in the future. Oh, God, New Nasrin would have so many things to say about that, but I love it.
Trez horny boys.
Trez royalty boys and Tala. is how technically royalty when there's no monarchy. That's what I meant by by people in New Nesrin would have a lot to say about that. New Nesrin do not like the idea of monarchy at all. Not even a little bit. Trez royalty boys and the regicide dog. That's my favorite pop punk band.
I love it. That's the answer to one of those describe your campaign as shittily as possible.
Yeah. Trez royalty boys and the regicide dog. Yeah. What is my campaign? What do we do here? I mean, Trez royalty boys and the regicide dog is clearly what we do here.
Yep.
If you think I use royalty for your folks, Kate, I did it with the sole intention to insult them. You know what? Good for you. This music is not creepy enough for what I'm attempting to write right now. Where is your playlist, Mara, since Blue's drawing you? Flight Princes. NPCs. Spider. It's more like Ishgard High Houses. That's kind of a good comparison, actually. Not perfect, but pretty good. Zella's Emmeline to for Tom. He so is. What Final Fantasy XIV characters would your OCs be? I have strong opinions about this, which is why I shouldn't comment. I mean, okay, I shouldn't comment on the Oak Cup pie, but I can probably Posey. I feel like there is an answer to this that's very obvious, but I can't think of it right now. She's got a little bit of Alisei, but not entirely. Alisei's too abrasive for Posey. 100% comment. Okay, so yes. For Das, I said Thane is like Amrik and Rahaban in varying measures depending on when you take it. Zal as Emmeline, I think, is actually a really good comparison. I think. Oh, my brain is blanked on every Final Fantasy XIV character now. I'm trying to think of characters. I'm trying to remember where you all are so I don't spoil anything. Who do you all know? I want to preface this by I don't mean this in a bad way. But Kate, Zal has a non-zero amount of Neurotolskeva.
I can see it. I know what you're getting at.
I mean, there's a character I think of for Tala, but I can't say it because you will know when you meet her. I think you will know who I mean when you meet her, which won't be very long now. Correct, she does. Like, honestly, I think if you're pulling... Yeah. See, I was gonna go for, like, Wedge, but Wedge is too wholesome for Zal.
Yeah.
I was thinking of, like, the Ironworks crew. Hurry's a tough one. My brain is literally blanked on every character that's ever existed in Final Fantasy. It's not like a Scion. I mean, there's a couple characters that have hurry energy, but they're kind of scattered. I mean, also, Tala has non-zero Estinian energy.
Love it.
Hurry is Tataru, but and Alphino. I don't know if the Alphino comparison is as good. Like, Tataru, I see it, because it's the I want to help. And I guess Alphino is an incurable optimist. But I don't know, I think Alphino's too, and Hurry, I love you dearly, and I want the world for you. But I think Alphino's a little too sure, a little too confident, almost. Like, Alfie walks into a room and knows that to some extent he's going to be respected in it.
Mm.
I don't think Hurry has that energy. Alfie also is a little too eloquent. Better. There's a lot of characters that give me her energy, but they're mostly characters from various job quests. Not in like a Hurry's a minor character kind of energy, but in that there's a couple characters in some of the job quests that have like, I want to help, especially like, I'm thinking of like Riel from Dark Knight and oh my god, what is his name? You guys won't meet this guy, Taina. You guys won't meet Taina for a million years. But definitely has Hurry energy. There's a lot of very magically powerful, and it feels weird using kids as a comparison for Hurry because he's 200 years old, but there's a lot of magically powerful kids in Final Fantasy XIV that want to help really badly but don't have an outlet. Or don't know how. Or don't know how to communicate it. Ida Papalimo duo energy from Tala Zal. I can see that. I think it depends which way round are you reading that. Because I don't think Tala has either energy. But
No.
I'm not saying Tala has a non-zero amount of Papalimo energy. Like, kind of done with this shit. A lot of powerful kids. Kelsa's adopted them all. I mean, kind of, yeah. They're my children now. I want them all
our
to...
children.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Some of them are. Arya is not your responsibility. Unless you're going to become a red mage suddenly. In which case Arya can also be your child.
I was more addressing the fact that Exa and Iphignia are very obviously dating.
Oh yeah.
That's
obviously.
why I was like, they're our children.
This is like... Iphignia comes back. X is in the garden. They've both been out adventuring, and Iphignia's like, okay, so I have another kid. And X is like, oh, what's this one's name?
yeah, 100%.
Doesn't question.
It's 100% what she'd be like.
Yeah. They're all like kind of a little cursed too, which is kind of fun.
Sure, that sounds fun.
Yeah. It's like, hey Exa, do you want to help me come rescue my daughter from the Void Sent Queen at the bottom of Witch Drop? And she's like, sure.
Grabs Lance.
Getting Roman to make new clothes for each kid. I don't know. I find it very funny, like in the non either of us are warrior light AUs. It's funny. It's so funny to think that they like X's day job is being the Azure Dragoon.
Mm-hmm.
Iphignia's essentially an academic, or a battle medic, depending on how you read it. Probably more a battle medic.
Mhm.
And then they both like come home from their day job and just live supremely weird lives, but just like come home normally. Exa does some gardening.
They're just
Iphigenia
so
reads.
domestic. So domestic at home.
Like that visual to me is hilarious.
Yep, I love it as well.
Iphigenia's just there with some sewing. Talking about her day, but it's like talking about the war. Obviously everything changes when one person is the Warrior of Light, but
Yeah.
it varies the amount of panicked Iphigenia energy depending on who's the Warrior of Light. I do have the visual of when X is the Warrior of Light, Iphigenia just shows up places and is like supremely worried.
Aw.
Like a couple weeks after everyth's gone down, and it's just like, well, on.
And
You okay?
she's just there, just like, hi, babe.
How were you?
How's it going?
Yeah.
She got like a new scar on her cheek. Hey, babe, how's it going? Where did you get that?
Looking up in that area, I'm like, I swear to God. Yeah, like I don't know if I think I've talked about this on stream before when I was writing Iphigenia's bio, but like my whole thing with Iphigenia is the whole reason she came to Eorzea is because a bunch of her friends wanted to be adventurers and they had no healer. So she was like, fine, I'll go and I'll take care of them. So she's ended up in the same situation over and over again, where she just ends up in like quote unquote heroic situations because she's just trying to take care of people. She's just trying to make sure people are okay. What do you have? A new scar? No!
Yep.
That's it. You've distilled it down to its core components. Does this mean Thane gets to be an uncle? This is a very important question. Yes. Arya just shows up looking for Iphigenia and expecting like all of her cool roommates, and they're all just like surprised they're just more parents. So it's like you thought Iphigenia's friends would be less careful. Those kids get the weird Lalafell aunts. Just trying to explain to Ari and Tana, it's like, okay, you have telling the stories about their aunts, but it's just stories about them being like pirates, and it's like, wait a minute. Which aunt are we talking about? You know, the one who used to be a pirate captain. Oh, what?
Wait, what?
It's also funny in any context to think about, with like the RP we've created for all these characters, how the fuck, whether Iphigenia is the Warrior of Light or not, she got all of those people into a free company. How did she know all of those people? Mums, why does Lulu keep talking about herself in the third person? I love that.
That's fantastic.
You two are fucking hilarious. I love you two. But yeah, just like, it's like, okay, what is the free company made of now? We have a former pirate and first mate, the Zerdagoon,
Yep.
one of the key members of the Sultana Guard who has a bit of a Batman complex.
Smidge.
Oh god, who else is in the free company? My brain is blanking.
The mysterious lion man.
The mysterious lion man, the fastest draw in the west.
The even more mysterious and unseen Mikose, which is freaking
Oh my God,
Martin's
yeah.
character. I have not seen him once in game.
No, me neither. Just a ripped Rodagan archer. It's like, how does Iphigenia know these people? I don't actually have an answer. She's probably had to do triage on them at some point. It's probably the answer. If she's not the Warrior of Light, of course. I need an essential dignity for that one, guys. Excellent Astro joke.
Yes,
Is it a
Sadie, I
burn if it's
know.
correct? I'm just watching you do this drawing that you're doing, Blue, because I love it so much.
I'm just slapping colours on now because I'm like, it's too late for me to carry on, and I'm kind of tired, so I'm not gonna like do a new.
We'll wrap it at 11.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do a new thing. I mean, yeah, it's now 5 to 11, so yeah, it's probably time to end because work tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, if you guys are on that Minecraft server, then start logging off, and also
Start logging off.
also tell the others who are on the server that it's time to log off. So I don't have to.
I like
so
that
I
idea,
haven't got to individually message Core and Panda all the time.
I do like that idea, okay? I like the idea that maybe we all met because we were exiled to Ishgard for various reasons, from wherever we were from.
I love the idea of being as extra as she is and being the Azure Dragoon, that Iphignia meets Exa literally by her crashing into the ground on the back of a dragon that she's just slain.
That.
just like with the lance like stabbed through the dragon's head, and the pair of them just come crashing into the ground, and she's just hanging onto the lance, kind of like Astinian did in that cinematic.
Yeah.
And then she just sort of like tumbles off, and then like looks up and pulls the helmet back, and it's just like, oh, pretty woman.
Oh no.
Ooh, pretty woman, and then like passes out.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, I'm meant to go to bed, Blue. I can't write this right now. I'm going to work tomorrow writing it on my phone.
Sleep on it, kid. Make bullet point notes on your phone so you don't forget.
Yeah, I won't, don't worry.
Fair. Very fair. Right. This will get posted to Twitter with the caption, "Tonight we learned that my stream chat likes teeth."
Teef.
Teef? That's the name of the document. Teef.
Teef.
Oh, I should probably, real quick...
Not used to the cold, yeah.
Let's real quick...
Lulu, she was like, I'm dying, and Iphignia's like, you're just cold.
Yes, I know, Sadie. Hang on, I'm picking a colour. There we go. Let's go with this. That's a nice one.
Sadie's so mad.
Absolutely furious.
Oh my god.
She heard me say, like, oh, I'm gonna finish up, and then she's like, hurry up, finish faster.
It's my time.
Curls, are you happy with that colour?
Yeah. Anything on the, like, blue to dark blue spectrum is good for her.
Slightly dark blue, okay. Slightly darker.
Anything from, like, yeah, that kind of blue through to dark blue and black is fine for Mar.
Let's just get it slightly.
All the way through to, like, dark brown, too, but...
Just so,
I generally put her in blues because it's more fun.
just so she's a different colour against Tala's white and red.
I'm not saying she wasn't, that colour wasn't chosen for that reason, but...
So no, you can't be red because I'm the red.
Took it from me. That's okay, I also like dark blue.
White and reds. Yes, I know!
Yes, Sadie, we know. I'll
finishing.
free her in a
I
moment,
was
I
just
promise.
putting colour on the dress, okay? I'm hitting the save button.
Sadie demands that we finish the stream, everybody.
Guys, is the server empty? Do you know? Can I turn it off? Oh, so that's no, it isn't. It is not.
I just got off and I was the last one. Cool.
Okay. Let's turn that off. Aaron left the game and stop. There we go. Cool.
Right.
On
So
that
I was
note-
off. We're going to bed.
Oh, what a fitting song!
What?
Enemy by Mystery Skulls. That's definitely on Tala's playlist. Mwah. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.